paradigm of absolute control. And that's why we're just out here doing simple things, pointing out that we're meant to be in nature and be natural. And this is where we find the source that God made to transcend the New World Order. And that's why they want to try to keep us out of it.
I'm angry. I've had enough of these people. They're a bunch of Christian murderous scum. They're on giant death factories keeping babies alive and selling their body parts. What more do you need to know about these people? I go out and face these scum. They literally crawl out from under rocks. They have green looking skin and they run around screaming, we love Satan, we wanna eat babies. I have them on video. Hillary's in the creepy, weird, sick stuff, man. She sleeps in the same room with that creepy, weird woman whose mother wears a hood over her head. What the hell? That woman number one is ugly. Imagine how bad she smells, man. I'm told her and Obama just stink. Obama and Hillary both smell like sulfur. Literal vampire pot and the goblins are hobbling round coming after us. My spirit gets close to that evil and I feel it go. We're such self-centered crap. We don't even notice hell itself rising up against us. Millions of pointed people of the very worst type, and I'm so pissed. We're gonna stab your daughter at the mall. We're gonna stab your wife, your son. We're gonna stab you with a butcher knife, and then the police chief is gonna say, we love our Somalis, we love our Muslims. Oh, they're so good, oh, they're so sweet.
I was watching Fox News as I worked out this morning.
Good morning again, people. For those of you who are joining for the second time, and for those of you who don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, well, that's because I hope everybody's doing well. Pretty uneventful morning. So I don't feel in any way like as if I missed out on anything. There was a little bit of crazy shit going on outside of the courtroom, outside of the courthouse with Grant and Tom. Honestly, I really couldn't make out what was happening. Not most of it. Yeah, I don't know exactly what happened with Aiden's hearing today, but as I imagine, it was just uneventful. I guess, as I understand it, Mello, they were there to argue the disqualification of Ken Mello, I believe, and Ken Mello is sick, so he couldn't make it. But it something happened. I was just watching Tom and Mike, and Aiden was outside of the courtroom. I don't even know, Meredith. Tom, he was like, they were arguing, and something to do with what Lindsay was doing with the Lindsay lying about set date. They set a date for the motion to dismiss on the 5th. Okay, thank you. On the 5th of March. Appreciate it. No, Tom was, I guess Grant was defending Lindsay, and Tom was talking about how Lindsay blasted some lies about Tom on Twitter, and then and Grant was trying to defend her, and it's just, yeah. Now I don't expect a whole lot of people here today. I just figured I had a live scheduled. It fell through. I got some misinformation there, and so but I'm not real upset about it. I was upset at first, but I'm not real upset about it now since the nothing happened. So and so Mello I feel shitty laughing about it, but at the same time I kind of don't. Like Aiden was outside of the courthouse just now. Tom was talking to Aiden, and Aiden was like addressing the press and everything, right? And he was just like that Cosgrove told him that that God was going to take care of the Ken Mello problem. Like, which it's fucked up because like he's basically implying that he's going to die. But, that's not really funny. But what's funny is just the fact that Cosgrove said that to Turtle Boy and his defense team. Like, what? Dude. Crazy, dude. Crazy that Cosgrove, like, you just picture Cosgrove just, well, God's probably going to take care of your Ken Mello problem. What? Okay. Yeah. Wild, man. Absolutely wild. And yeah, I'm drinking coffee. So here's the thing, man. Like I can't run my space heater and my coffee machine at the same time, and it's morning, and I'm gonna drink coffee, so I can't run my space heater, and it kind of sucks because like it's an old house, so because of the wiring in the house, and like the internet, the router will go out, everything, so I can't run my heat. So it's really cold, and it's gonna snow here today, supposedly. So, but you'll see me doing this quite a bit because I'm trying to keep my hands warm. But what we're gonna do today is, since for the last few days we've been kind of on a roll with the whole fake victim stuff. We even filled Hannibal and Monty in on the fake victim stuff. So what we're gonna end up doing, Aiden had played the audio. He had obtained the audio, so we're gonna play Aiden's audio of the court hearing where she represented herself until she got a court-appointed attorney. But she cross-examined Aiden on the stand, which is just pretty interesting. Listening to that, I was just like, what in the fuck kind of like Twilight Zone shit is this? So we're gonna listen to it and of course, you know, add commentary and whatnot. So I mean, pretty much everyone heard it yesterday. Jessica, thank you so much. 24-hour standout, January 28th, 8 a.m. Canton PD. Okay, so January 28th, 8 a.m. Canton PD. The 24-hour standout's happening. So right on. That's great. Wow, you guys are badass, dude. So let me. Yeah, this is 2 hours long. I'm gonna speed it up, but we're gonna hear, because the other day when we did, I read Mary Bagwell's affidavit, and she but I and some of this stuff I'm going to be reacting to because I listened on Turtle Boys Live, but I was in and out, and so I didn't really listen to the entire thing, you know, with my undivided attention. So some of this stuff I'll be reacting to, but because I didn't hear. Oh, you haven't heard it yet, Kathy? Okay. But just for the sake of going live, because, you know, I had one scheduled, and I know there were some people who were hoping to hang out with me today. So and since I'm all set up and ready to go, I figured, yeah, man, let's do that. Let's hang out. Let me speed this up. Wow, that music. That music's fast.
All quiet, please. What is the session?
In the matter of Lindsay Gay Carney versus Aiden Carney. Would both parties stand and raise their right hands? Do you swear in the matter now in hearing to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do. So we are here regarding an extension of restraining order hearing. Ms. Lindsay Gay Carney, I will give you this opportunity. I have read your affidavit. Is everything in that affidavit true and accurate?
I don't believe I submitted an affidavit.
Well, you submitted an affidavit originally with.
Oh, the first one.
Yes.
Okay, yes.
Okay. And additionally, at this time, what I'll do, because I know you're not represented by counsel, I'll give you an opportunity to give a narrative, meaning you can tell me in your own words what you'd like to tell me for my consideration for purposes of extending the order. And I'll give you an opportunity to cross-examine the plaintiff. And do you have any other witnesses you're recalling?
So the judge here is clearly giving her an opportunity to present her case and give a good reason as to why she should have this restraining order against Turtle Boy extended. Now, we all heard the recording of that night. Like, I was shocked in the first place that she was even granted one. I remember talking about it and hearing that recording and being like, dude, how did she end up getting? And most people in the chat were like, this is Massachusetts. I mean, this is totally what happened. Like, everyone in the chat was like, this is Massachusetts, it's super easy to get a restraining order against somebody. I was like, oh, okay. Because I remember I tried to get a restraining order against somebody and it was not easy at all. That was a long time ago and it was in Georgia, but it wasn't easy at all. So this was, to me, I mean, when this happened, I was like, I don't understand. We heard like a recording of her like threatening the well-being of her own children. I don't understand. But everybody was like, it's Massachusetts. It's that easy. Nobody was surprised.
All right, so whenever you're ready, you may proceed. Thank you, Your Honor.
Good morning, Your Honor. I'm here respectfully to ask that my restraining order be renewed. I received a copy of the defendant's statement late yesterday afternoon, and I was able to review that. While I wholly disagree with most of the statement, I do realize we're not here to relitigate the original order, and rather for me to explain to you why I remain in fear of the defendant.
Now, I
first,
have the statement that she's referring to. I can read that if you guys want. That would be Aiden's affidavit. I could read that if you guys want. But I gotta tell you, it's actually pretty heart-wrenching. There's nothing funny about it, you know. As far as Aiden's affidavit goes, it's sad because it talks about the damage that she really did cause him. And you know what? Maybe we should go over it. Let me just check and see how long it is. But I never did go over it. Yeah. I mean, it's 4 pages. I could go over it real quick. Okay, you guys in the chat seem to want me to. But let me refresh my coffee here. It's really cold. my coffee gets cold like in a minute. All right, so I asked this court to deny the plaintiff, Lindsay Gattani's request to extend the restraining order imposed on me on January 8th, 2024, as it is not necessary and is currently being used by the plaintiff as a weapon to try to have me charged with a crime. This order severely restricts my right to travel freely and exercise my First Amendment rights. Ironically, the issuance of this order has left me in constant fear of the plaintiff, as she has repeatedly stated that her goal is to have me violated and sent to jail. Now, before I continue, I got to tell you guys, like, now this is what I do here. You know what I mean? Like, I make jokes and I'll make jokes out of somebody like her very easily. But the thing is keep in mind, no matter how funny I make this out to be, because this person is worthy of being subject to jokes because she's an idiot and she's an asshole, you know? So I don't feel bad about it. But the thing is the situation is serious. And I'm genuinely pissed off at the fact that this person has absolutely weaponized the law to try to hurt somebody. And she does this habitually, it seems like. So make no mistake, behind the jokes, I'm fucking mad. You know, I'm fucking mad. Like, this shit is not okay. And Turtle Boy Aiden feels genuinely afraid of this person, as he should. We're talking about somebody who we know now threatened to murder a woman and her children and recorded herself and didn't care that she was being recorded doing it. We're talking about that. We're talking about somebody who threatened to drive her 4 children. For what reason? For what purpose was it to bring that up? What purpose did it serve to go, I'm going to drive to your house. I'm going to park in front of the driveway. What purpose does adding the children in there, specifically saying I'm going to put my children in the car while I do this? So make no mistake, this is a potentially dangerous person. Somebody who pulled a knife out on somebody in traffic while she was on a conference call with her children in the car. So yeah, I mean, I got jokes, but I'm not forgetting the seriousness of this person, the seriousness of the situation, and how serious this person poses a threat. How serious the threat is that this person poses. Because she's capable of anything. If she has no fear of consequence of even being recorded, if she's so delusional to where she convinces herself of the truth to a point to where she will lie and not give a shit that her lies contradict each other in a fucking courtroom, like, this is a dangerous person. So it goes on to say, I have never attempted to make any contact with the plaintiff since the issuance of the order, as I don't want to be anywhere near her or ever speak to her again. However, since the issuance of the order, the plaintiff has attempted to file multiple criminal complaints against me with the Medfield Police Department for alleged third-party violations of the order. She is extremely active on social media and frequently gets into arguments with people who use anonymous accounts. She has baselessly accused me of being behind the anonymous accounts and accused me of ordering the third-party accounts to contact her. These allegations are without any merit, which is why the police have never filed any criminal charges. In a May YouTube stream, she expressed her frustration over this and demanded that police do their jobs. The existence of the order leaves me in constant fear of being arrested based on her lies. Last year, when the order was extended for 1 year, the plaintiff said that she was in fear of imminent serious physical harm because she claimed I had assaulted her by pushing her onto a couch, leading to an assault and battery charge. Since then, a grand jury chose not to indict me due to lack of probable cause, and the district attorney's office chose to drop the charges in district court. No assault ever occurred, and the plaintiff was never in fear of serious physical harm because I was never a physical danger to her. Most shockingly, a witness named Mary Bagwell, a former friend of the plaintiff, has come forward and will give testimony that the plaintiff confided in her that the assault on December 24th, 2023 never occurred. The plaintiff called Ms. Bagwell on the phone in early December and threatened to come to Ms. Bagwell's house and murder her and her children. This recording will be entered into evidence and was used as the basis of a full-year harassment prevention order against Ms. Gattani and pending criminal charges from the Mansfield Police Department. That means that there are pending charges. That means that there's a case open, and they're going to prosecute her if they can. They're going to charge her and prosecute her if they have enough. Ms. Gattani's own mother reached out to me to offer support when she found out about her daughter's abusive behavior. Wow. Now, this is a sworn affidavit. This is Aiden saying that her own mother reached out to him. He didn't reach out to her mother. She reached out to him to offer support when she found out about her daughter's abusive behavior. When Ms. Gattani found out about this, she sent threatening messages to her mother in an attempt to scare her from speaking with me about Lindsay's history of abusive behavior. Her mother informed me that Miss Kitani also fabricated assault claims against her own father in 2012, which led to charges that were eventually dropped. Jesus, man. The relationship I had with the plaintiff, that in quotes, the relationship I had with the plaintiff was brief and hardly could be called a relationship at all. Throughout the brief 3-month fling, the plaintiff was regularly abusive to me, constantly degrading me, saying horrific things about my family and children, and threatening to come to my house. In November of 2023, I had a panic attack over this and sent her a video while I was in distress. She has since published that video in order to mock me while I was in crisis. When I expressed a desire to end the relationship, the plaintiff pretended to be pregnant by sending me pictures of what we now know are old pregnancy pictures from a previous pregnancy. She saw the emotional harm this was doing to me and used the fake pregnancy to manipulate me into continuing to see her. When I finally got the courage to stand up to her and refused to go to her apartment on December 9th, 2023, she called me on the phone threatening to drop that fetal alcohol syndrome baby off at your house and party my fucking life away. She went on to say that ending the relationship with her would be the biggest regret of your life. Finally, she promised to weaponize the judicial system against me by saying, you think things are bad now? You think 9 felony charges are bad? Just wait till you see what's coming next. I'm going to be your worst fucking nightmare. I will fucking destroy you. On December 22nd, 2023, she informed me that she was a witness in a grand jury proceeding and asked me to come to her apartment. When I told her I didn't want to, she then told me that she wanted to talk about the fake pregnancy in person, knowing that I would not abandon her if she was actually pregnant. It was all a lie that she used to lure me to her apartment, where she had planned to falsely accuse me of assault and battery and witness intimidation, where we later discovered in text messages found in her cell phone extraction. On December 24th, 2023, Ms. Kitani wanted me to sleep over, and I would not let would not let me leave her apartment. When I told her I wanted to leave, she stole my personal property and told me I could have it back in the morning. When I still expressed a desire to leave, I told her I began recording for my protection. She then woke up her 4 young children, age 2, 3, 5, and 12, at 3 a.m. and told them that they were driving to my house to have a self-induced abortion in my driveway. She threatened to crash her car and write a suicide note blaming me, so I reluctantly agreed to her demand since I was worried about the safety of her children. She had pretended to kill herself multiple times during our brief relationship whenever I expressed a desire to end the relationship. Since the extension of this order, the plaintiff has constantly used social media to harass and disparage not only me, but members of my family and my girlfriend. She has disparaged and addressed me over 300 times in tweets, all documented, and YouTube videos since getting the original order last year. When my mother died in late June, she tweeted out taunts directed at me, expressing her glee in my mother's passing from pancreatic cancer. Her false claims of assault robbed me of 2 of the last months of my mother's life. She bragged about me being the first person to get an order on me and send me to jail, and treats the very serious issue of domestic violence as a game to be won. On Twitter and on YouTube, she has made fun of the size of my penis, said that I couldn't make her orgasm, falsely accused me of sexually abusing my children, and baselessly accused me of raping her. An accusation that the Medfield police determined never happened. Emails from her phone extraction show that she created a revenge porn Twitter account called Aiden Cranks to Come in reference to me masturbating. The plaintiff possesses multiple videos of me of a sexual nature that I live in constant fear of her posting as a way to control me. She frequently posts screenshots of sexual images I shared during our brief relationship. In several tweets, she has referred to me by name as a cult leader, pathological lying narcissist, sick predator, sociopath, abuser, rapist, self-absorbed jerk, and pedophile. This is not behavior of someone who is in imminent fear of physical harm and requires an order to ensure her safety. This is the behavior of an abusive person. It is absolutely the behavior of an abusive person. I'm going to take a break on this for a second, and I'm going to talk about something, and I'm going to make a move here. I'm going to make a point, because I know that there are some people who think when you hear that, you think it's funny. That someone being a guy as loud and as aggressive as and animated as Turtle Boy is, and being caught in that compromised type of position is somehow funny. It's not. It's not. There's a thing about this, and I've ranted about these things before, but I'm going to do it again because it's something that I feel very strongly about. I'm going to have a time to kill moment, a Matthew McConaughey, a time to kill moment. Just not quite as dramatic, but when you look at what Aiden describes in this After David, when you look at what he describes there and you hear that, if you're finding any humor in that, okay, I want you to take a moment and then ask yourself, what if it was a woman? What if it was a woman who described that? Listen to these words here. Emails from her. I mean, I don't even want to read it all over again, but emails from her phone extraction show that she created a revenge porn Twitter account in reference to me masturbating. The plaintiff possesses multiple videos of me of a sexual nature that I live in constant fear of her posting as a way to control me. She frequently posts screenshots of sexual images I shared during our brief relationship. If this was a man doing this to a woman, the world would be fucking burning, dude. The people would be losing their shit over this. And let me tell you something. As a guy who is not, I am not ashamed of how sexual I am. I'm a very sexual guy. I take pride in this. But the thing is, and I have shared compromised pictures with women. I have had phone sex with women, and I have done all of these things. But the thing is I do, just because I engage in this does not mean that I don't value something as precious, as sacred as intimacy. And when that intimacy is violated, that hurts anyone, man or woman. It doesn't make Aiden any less susceptible to the emotional harm that it would cause a woman. Because once that violation, he didn't send pictures to somebody with the intention that it was going to get blasted all over the world. Nobody does that. So if that's done to me, I get fucking devastated, man. I'm not a shy person. That's why I don't mind engaging in that intimate act with another grown adult woman. I don't mind doing that. I enjoy it, but there's an intimacy to it. And that intimacy can be violated for a man just as much as any woman. So anybody who's minimizing what this woman has put Aiden through, and that's just Aiden. That's not even counting all of her other victims from her past, including her own father. This woman's a menace, dude. Like, yeah, like we could crack jokes, sure, but this woman is a fucking menace. Like, it's a matter of time before she hurts somebody. Like, anybody who's sitting there acting like Aiden is just targeting her and suing her because it's you know, a way to further abuse her, you're minimizing what he's gone through, what he's going through. And that's just fucking her. That's just her. Dude, Aiden's got fucking people coming at him from all directions, dude. This dude has every right to put this person down, legally speaking. He has every right to do it. He almost has a responsibility to do it. Now, he doesn't, but I'm saying one could argue that he almost has a responsibility to do it because he's capable and he's a fighter. So why the fuck would he just sit there and take this shit from this person when he can prove how malicious she is and how dangerous she is? So yeah, I would absolutely go after her legal, like civil, criminally, every which way in legalities that I possibly can. Like, just because you sleep with somebody does not mean that you are asking for it. Like, he did not, like, it's so crazy to hear people make these comments from time to time that are just like, that's what he gets for going over to the house. That's what he gets when you stick your dick in crazy. Like, you know how fucking dumb you sound, man, when you say shit like that? Look at the stuff this guy has gone through with this woman. That's the whole thing about sticking your dick in crazy, is they don't let you know they're crazy until it's too fucking late. Until that moment where you go, ah, fuck, she's fucking crazy. And then, like, the shit just starts happening. That's the whole point. That's what makes it so fucking diabolical. They know how to hide the fucking crazy. And then they get into fuck it mode once they've got you in a compromising enough position. Like, just because Aiden's Aiden, it's cool to victim blame. Fuck out of here with that shit. I don't want to hear that shit. All right. It goes on to say, the order has been in existence for a year, and during that time, Miss Gitani has repeatedly come to places where she knew I would be, including where I was working as a journalist, in an attempt to trigger a violation. On February 26, 2024, Miss Gitani showed up at Karen Reed hearing for the first time, knowing I would be there. She walked into the courtroom holding her order, and I immediately left. 10 minutes later, she once again came within 100 yards of me, unbeknownst to me, in order to have me violated. She lied to police about me yelling liar at her, which was disproven with dozens of videos, and failed to tell a responding Denham police officer about this made-up incident when she called the police to falsely report me for vandalism after leaving court. Jesus. That's right. I remember that. Ms. Gattani only went to the hearing on February 26, 2024 because she knew I was in attendance. She never attended a single hearing before February 26, 2024. And most notably, there were 3 hearings while I was in jail, which she never once attended. On March 12th and March 26, 2024, I publicly announced that I would not be attending Reed hearings on those days to see if Ms. Gattani would show up. She did not, because the only reason she wanted to attend was to weaponize the order to have me removed. I publicly announced that I would attend a Reed hearing on March 20th, and like clockwork, Ms. Gattani showed up, which meant I could not attend. As a direct result of her manipulative behavior, Judge Pomerol chose to amend the existing restraining order at a motion to vacate hearing on April 26, 2024, allowing me to be within 50 yards of any courthouse, even if Ms. Gattani was present. Since the order was amended on April 26th, Ms. Gattani has repeatedly showed up at places where she knew I would be. On June 28th, 2024, she and 4 other women showed up in Dedham to disrupt a peaceful standout that I was leading on the sidewalk in support of Karen Reed. She marched through the crowd despite knowing I was somewhere in that crowd, which is not the behavior of someone in fear of physical harm. She antagonized the crowd that she knew I was a part of by calling them freaks. She conducted an interview with a CBS reporter that was later aired on the news and did a 10-minute interview with Court TV reporter Julie Grant about the incident. Wow. Ironically, I was the one in fear due to her behavior, as I had to literally run away from the standout I had organized and alert police officers to her presence. Ms. Gattani is also, think about that. This is how she weaponized the law, because here she is, showing up to these places, and it's got to be Aiden that runs to the cops because he's scared of getting arrested. He's scared of getting locked up. She's not scared of nothing because she's showing up where she knows he's going to be. But here's Aiden scared out of his mind at this woman. Scared of the cops. Dude, imagine that shit. He's already scared of the cops. You know what I mean? Like, everyone's trying to get this guy locked up. Dude, I'd be freaking out. But this woman is out here using a restraining order under the false basis that she's afraid, and she's not. But now, because she's got this order in place, he's scared. That's her weaponizing the law. And she has a history of this. Ms. Gattani is also attempting to monetize her alleged victimhood. In June, she announced that as a direct result of the assault charges she filed against me, she was approached by a well-known producer to showcase my story in a major motion picture. And that filming was set to being the following week. She claimed that the producer was allowing her to be hands-on with making sure that the story is accurately depicted, and bragged that the lead actor was someone people would be excited about seeing. Victims of domestic violence who are in fear of their abusers harming them do not seek out movie producers to dramatize traumatizing events for profit. This is not the behavior of a person in fear of imminent harm. It is the behavior of someone attempting to profit and seek attention off of a fabricated assault charge that was dropped by the Commonwealth. The plaintiff pretends to be a victim by claiming that she is in fear that I will release pornographic videos of her. However, she is the one who has made multiple pornographic accounts of me and her in an attempt to deceive this court. In a May 2024 YouTube broadcast, she bragged about how she loved that me and my girlfriend are watching my sex videos. She frequently told me during our relationship that she wanted other people to watch us having sex on the internet. She also filmed us without my consent on October 19th, 2023, using using a Ring camera in her bedroom, and then sent me the video. The only contact that has taken place between us since the issuance of this order has come from the plaintiff. In February 22nd, on February 22nd, 2024, Ms. Katani called me on Facebook Messenger at 2 a.m., then made up an elaborate lie about butt dialing. More butt dials. Wow. Something that would be impossible since she had blocked me on Facebook. On March 7th, 11th, and 18th of 2024, Ms. Katani sent me threatening text messages and expressed a desire to see me again in an attempt to have me violate the order. Ms. Katani has intentionally sought out friendships with people who she knows are antagonistic towards me. This includes a former employee named Kate Peter, who is being charged with felony witness intimidation against me, and who I have an active harassment prevention order against. While Ms. Katani was with Ms. Peter on February 26, 2024, at her Medfield apartment, Ms. Peter called me on Ms. Katani's behalf and left 2 threatening voicemails. Ms. Peter said that she wanted to talk about Lindsay, then repeatedly called me a faggot, small dick fucking pussy, said she was going to my parents' house, and said that she was the reason I would be back in jail. Ms. Peter's behavior on behalf of Ms. Katani resulted in me getting a year-long harassment prevention order against Ms. Peter. Every domestic relationship that plaintiff has been involved in has ended with a restraining order or assault charges. Jesus Christ, think about that. Every domestic relationship the plaintiff has been involved in has ended with a restraining order or assault charges. That's a bold fucking fact. This includes her own father and her last 3 ex-boyfriends. Frank, blah, 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 blah. She has obtained orders against all of them and continued to seek them out despite the existence of these orders. She is in regular communication with one dude who has since who she has an active order against. And in July of 2023, she tracked this dude down in a Walpole parking lot and sat in the front seat of his car despite having an order on him. She then called police and had him arrested. Jesus fucking Christ. I live in constant fear that she will use this order to do the same to me, as her behavior has become increasingly more unhinged as time goes on. In conclusion, there is no need for this order to be extended because the plaintiff is not in fear of imminent physical harm, and she will continue to use it as a weapon against me instead of as a means of protection. I worry if she will show up at my kids' sporting events to eject me. As this order gives her the power to do so. I would like to resume my life as it was before I met Ms. Katani, which is impossible to do with this order in place. I mean, there it is. There it is. So, I mean, this isn't like some game. You know what I mean? Like, we got jokes, but this isn't a fucking game. This is a seriously ill person. This is a dangerous person. And as long as she has a protective order over Aiden, it's affecting his life.
Want to just express that the order is, my children are covered under the order as well. I remain in constant imminent fear every day of the defendant. I am very scared about potential future physical risk as well. To begin, the order was violated in February of 2024 during a hearing actually across the street at the Superior Court, which I and the attendant both attended. He did leave the courtroom, but he remained outside afterwards and essentially followed me to my car, taking pictures and videos of me as I walked with the group of people I was with, well within 100 yards of the order. And I had no way to get to my car other than passing by him.
This is the kind of fucking sick freak that this person is, dude, because like she's just dismissing the fact that there's all this video evidence that proves that she's lying. Like, there's all this video evidence that proves that she's lying. I remember going over it then. I remember when this happened.
As he moved from spot to spot, following all the way to my car or to the entrance to the parking lot. My car was vandalized that
Like
day.
she knows there's video evidence of it,
So you
and
put
she
them
still lies anyway.
Folks, quiet, please.
Not today, not today, no.
You're gonna have to put that video camera away. You did not request permission prior to the hearing. Right, you may proceed.
So the defendant was charged with a violation that still is still a pending matter. It still has not been gone to trial for that yet. So that's one of the reasons. Another, he was indicted for witness intimidation and wiretapping against me, and those matters are still pending as well at the Superior Court. We have not gone to trial for those either. And I'm very much in fear of what he may do in regards to the result of the cases, because he's also facing numerous other charges against many other witnesses and facing many years in prison. So I am very scared of what him getting in a desperate state, what he may do to try to prevent me from speaking, as he's already tried to do in the past.
Wow.
And he has expressed to me in the past and on his, so I should mention, I think it was in my original affidavit, he is a well-known blogger and YouTuber and has a very large following of fans. He gets tens of thousands of views on his YouTube page and social media platforms. So he has announced to me and on his YouTube show in the past that he struggles with mental health issues. He has told me specifically that he hears voices, has thoughts of suicide, that like he has suffered with this in the past, and I'm afraid
That shit right there is fucking infuriating. That shit right there, like, I'll tell you, as somebody who struggles with mental health issues, I'll tell you right now that when you've confided in somebody that you care about these things, because it's fair for them to know, you plan on spending a lot of time with this person, you let them know. And the lowest shit, most hurtful shit is when that person uses it to try to make you out to be a bad or dangerous person. It's really, really, really infuriating to hear her do exactly that right there. I mean, that's like super shitty. And I don't even know how much of it's even true. You know what I'm saying? But even if she's lying about these things, what she's doing is she's minimizing anybody who does struggle with these issues. Yeah, and she's got 4 fucking kids, dude. Like, this is a dangerous person.
what he might do if he was put in a desperate position facing all these years in prison. He has engaged in a year-long smear campaign against me, using his platforms publicly, even while he was in jail, writing blogs about me filled with disparaging lies from jail, posting my picture, private court documents. He posted police reports where he doxed my full name, address, phone number, birth date, and that has resulted in his followers, he has incited them to harass me as well. They've gotten death threats. I've gotten calls to the Board of Nursing to try to get my nursing license suspended, calls to my children's school, emails to their school, constant calls to DCF with false reports. May I look at my notes?
I mean,
He was given.
I don't condone that shit at all, dude. I don't condone that shit at all. Anybody like calling DCF, unless it's a valid fucking claim. You know what I'm saying? Like, if it's a valid claim, like you have a specific claim against somebody because their children are in danger, then you're doing your due diligence. That's different. But when you're just calling fucking people's fucking just to hurt them, like you can't go and call DCF on this woman now, even though she's a bad mother. You can't just be like, like, hey, she's a bad mom, and then like flood up their resources. Right. Fair enough. I'm saying, but you got to have a specific gripe. You know what I'm saying? You got to have a specific gripe if you're going to call this lady, if you're going to call DCF. I've seen that so many cases that I've covered where people are doing that shit and you're just like, what the fuck are you doing? And they do it on each other. Like, it's crazy. People in this community will do that shit to each other. It's like, what are you doing? you realize at DCF, like, you know, they need to help people. There's already problems with resources. Look at fucking Gabriel Fernandez. Like, what's the girl in Seattle? What was her name? I'm already forgetting her name. That, like, the system failed these kids and they ended up dead. So you just gotta, like, you know, if you're gonna report somebody to DFACS, man, make sure you've got a specific gripe with proof, you know? No, not Harmony Montgomery, but yeah, the system failed her too. Yeah, system failed her too. Cherry knows who I'm talking about. I'm just bad with names. The Seattle, the girl in Seattle, a little 5-year-old girl. Father was a cop. Turned meth head. And then she ended up in foster care, and this couple took her in and they loved her, and then the system gave them back to the natural parents, and then the child disappears, the house burns down, these people get arrested, but they got nothing to hold them for, so they're out now. It's driving me crazy that I can't think of her name right now. It's driving me crazy.
April of 2024, a full forensic unredacted copy of my cell phone, which I had given to the Mass State Police because I was a witness for
Oakley
an
Carlson.
prior to
There it is.
and
Oakley
I handed it to
Carlson.
him by mistake. And
Oakley Carlson. That was her name. Yeah, they don't have a, she's just missing. They don't have a body. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy. In the system, I mean, she was living with loving foster parents. She was happy.
and he has been sharing it, announced on his show. Like, I was alerted to this by a friend back when it happened in April. He went live on his YouTube show and announced that he received this copy of my 15 years of my life, everything you can imagine, from medical records to attorney communications, intimate pictures, everything, medical and bank records, everything. And he announced that he had already shared it with dozens and dozens of people, and he has continued to share information from my phone.
Like, I've already heard Aiden say, dude, he doesn't give a fuck, like, about any of that stuff. Like, all he cares about is the stuff that connects her to fucking Tully and Mello. That's it. And crusty panties.
Protective orders with the courts at the Superior Court, and despite assurances from his attorney that he would not do so anymore, recently Judge Krupp at the Superior Court put in place a more stringent protective order, basically ordering him to give back the phone extraction and any and all copies, and stop sharing any information from my phone. But the damage has been done. He, mere days later after that order was put in place, he went on the show again and announced that the order was essentially useless because he shared it with so many people he can't even remember how many people he shared it with, and who's to stop somebody from an anonymous account or another country from sharing information. On one of the shows, he declared that when his trial is all over, he'll release the really good stuff. He has told his viewers that I conspired with the Mass State Police and Norfolk County District Attorney's Office to set him up. This was all a big setup, and that nothing related to the charges ever happened. That it was all
Because it
lies, and
is.
he refers to me and asked his viewers to refer to me as a fake victim. So it has resulted in harassment from all of his fans everywhere. Like, I can't even come into the courthouse without being harassed on my way in, because he's convinced these people that I have lied about abuse, that I've lied about these allegations, and that I'm a fake
But
victim.
you did. You
I
are.
received a phone call, a disturbing phone call in, I think it was August of 2024, from a number I didn't recognize, and I answered it, and it was late at night, and it sounded like a voice changer. The voice sounded robotic, and they asked me where my daughter was and named her. She's 3 years old, and they said that they had a present for her, and when they started singing "Ring Around the Rosie," I hung up the phone, and I was later informed that the phone number is a number registered to Mr. Carney, and
That sounds made up.
a friend alerted me. Because I told
That sounds
to
like
call, and
bullshit.
I shared the number, and they Googled it, and it shows that the number is registered to him, and that I guess he has 2 numbers, and his main number is the one that I had, but this is his backup secondary number.
Like she's saying that like this shit fucking like that just sounds made up, dude. I'm sorry. That somebody called her phone and they were all ominous and shit. And they were like, "Where are your children? Ring around the rosy, pocket full of posy." And then like, yeah, like, come on, man. Get the fuck out of here.
So it shows, I submitted evidence to Attorney Bradel, which I can give to you as well. It shows the Google search returns his name and address as the owner of the phone.
Attorney Brennan, you've seen that? I have, Your Honor.
It's the first 3 pages.
Just for the record, I would object to any evidence that doesn't is material relevant to the plaintiff's reasonable fear of imminent serious bodily harm. This is a 209 order. There's no right to get a restraining order out of fear of being disparaged online. So to the extent that anything in there just refers to disparagement or complaining about someone's conduct.
So already she's shitting the bed. Already she's shitting the bed. Like, I mean, come on, lady. Like, you're going up against Bradel, first of all. Like, what are you thinking? Right? So Bradel is like, so this doesn't protect her from somebody talking about somebody online. Like, so if this is her argument, then she doesn't have an argument. So Bradel's just basically telling the judge, like, okay, well, you know, she just doesn't like people talking about her. And yeah, I don't know what's going on here.
Trying to the phone number check, is that correct? And I've heard your testimony regarding that. This phone number check is not authenticated, it's not a phone record, but I have heard your testimony on it. So as far as the phone record check, that
She's pretty awful, Larry Legend.
not be permitted into evidence. So also your objection is sustained. Do you want to move these other items in as well?
Yes, Your Honor. I've only provided just a few examples of some posts on social media and blogs that he has put up regarding me. These are, when I say only a few, I mean he does.
She's still doing
3
it.
YouTube shows a week that are
Like-
at least 3 hours long each, and has been talking about me daily for the past year. So, and then has multiple
So?
social media platforms where he's posted about me hundreds of times, if not thousands. So I couldn't possibly submit everything to you. These are just
So?
And I do want to say that the phone call, if that, I don't
I
know if
love
that
it.
is what Attorney Bradel was referring to in the evidence I submitted, but it does directly relate to my
No, what Bradel's
fear of
saying is,
physical harm,
who gives a
of
shit?
the plaintiff. I took my children.
Gives a
and
shit that he's
I
talking
had
about you
to
online. So
left my
what?
home because I was too scared to stay there. We went down to a private resort on the Cape, and when we left several days later, there was pictures posted on social media of my children and I on the beach. I can't leave my home without being harassed by his followers.
I just want to move before we go on to-
Yeah, like anybody who does that, man, like that's not cool at all. Don't do that.
There appear to be emails from Hayden Kearney, the defendant, or
Because look, what you're doing, all you're doing is feeding her more. When you got somebody whose nickname is fucking fake victim, dude, you know, you're giving her legit reasons to feel victimized. You know what I mean? Why do that? You know, just let her live bullshit fucking existence and let Aiden handle the shit, dude.
packet of them. Total 11 pages. Again, counsel, I heard your objection to all of these items. As far as these items go, is there anything else you'd like to add? Judge, just that there's they lack materiality in the sense that there's nothing germane to the standard that we're here to evaluate. These items, collectively 11 pages, are admissible as exhibit number 1.
Exhibit 1.
And then there was an additional item for a series
The problem is that I don't believe her.
from other individuals, not
You know what I mean? Like, I just think she's full of shit.
remaining items. The objection is sustained regarding those items, no recommend those be marked as exhibit B for identification.
Thank you.
I can make it to you.
So, I mean, even with just, so there was a modification to the order in April 2024, which allowed the defendant to be within 50 yards of me of any courthouse in Massachusetts. And even with just that slight modification, it's allowed the defendant the ability to abuse it and harass me. On one occasion, he sent one of his fans into the courtroom to take a picture of me at a probate matter regarding my children and posted it from one of his, they call it a stock account.
She loves to use her
A fake
kids.
Twitter account, basically. On another occasion, just recently.
She loves that shit.
2 weeks ago on
Let
Christmas
me
Eve.
ask you a quick question about that. How do you know that you sent the individual and did the individual tell you, or did you learn from some other source?
It was, she told somebody that he's, yes, it would be hearsay, but she was there with the father of my children, who the defendant has publicly stated on his YouTube shows that he reached out to, who I have a restraining order against as well after leaving a 6-year abusive relationship with him. And he has colluded with the father of my children to engage in more harassment against me.
Your Honor, if you still have more testimony, I'm happy to hear it.
Yeah, nobody gives a
So,
fuck
the
because
this
you're
case,
lying, first of
December
all.
24th, I was in court for another matter, completely unrelated to the defendant, and he attended, I believe, just as a way to intimidate me, and sat in the back of the courtroom, looked over at me and smiled and winked, and I
What was
just,
that?
what was it?
Wow.
December 24th, just a couple weeks ago.
Get the fuck
He had no
outta here.
reason to be at that court matter, and he announced on his show actually that he was not there as a reporter. And so I feel though as though he's using this slight modification just as a way to continue to keep tabs on me and follow me to places where I'm going.
Objection, Your Honor, since that's not evidence. Nothing followed. Anything else?
Each and every time, even like we just had a hearing like today, he obtains the
I,
video. and
I
audio
love
on
hearing
his
her
show
voice
and
shake.
harasses, and I mean, he's made threats. He's told me on his YouTube show, he's talked directly.
See,
to
this
me
shit
after he was
hits-
reported to the Medfield police. They did not violate him for that.
This shit hits different than like listening to somebody and then wondering if they're, full of shit. We know she's full of shit. So like it hits different, like, you know what I mean? Like just listening to every time her voice shakes or some shit, you just know that she's fucking full of shit. Like this woman is a goddamn menace, dude. Yeah. Oh, I'm so fucking scared. No, you're not scared of anything. Stop it.
But he has said that I'm gonna get mine. He has said that like karma always comes around. She better watch out. He has the day that he violated the restraining order.
Like only Grant, bro. Like Grant's the only one. You know what I mean? That's why I don't fucking like, I get why people hate Grant, but I can't get to that point because I just see the guy that she strings along. You know what I mean? Dude, yeah, nobody believes her. She's a fucking liar. Like, it's like Grant, that's why I'm just like, dude, Jesus, man. Only somebody as pathetic as Grant is gonna like fall for this woman at this point, like knowing what we know about her. It's like thinking that Karen Reed is guilty at this point. You know what I mean? Like if you think, I was saying this and shout out to Lacey Jane. I was on her thing yesterday on Twitter, and like I said this then. I feel confident in saying, like, at this point, with all of the evidence, everything that we are aware of that exists in the Karen Reed case, if you're aware of this stuff and you still think that Karen Reed is guilty, you're fucking retarded. You have to be fucking retarded. There's no other explanation. You're just a fucking idiot. Like there's no, I feel, dude, I feel so confident saying that shit out loud. So like when you look at this person here, knowing everything that we know, dude, recordings, the man recorded the night in question. And we heard the shit that we heard her say those things about her kid. About her kids. Like, so there's no way that you're going to listen to this person sit here and talk about her children as if she's somebody who's actually concerned about the well-being of her fucking children. She's not. She can't be. There's no, like, you have to be a fucking idiot to think that. When you listen to her sit there in court talking about my children this and my children that, you don't care, dude. You pulled a knife on somebody, some stranger in traffic, bro. Like, stop it.
I think it was that morning I later saw a clip of the show where he said that, you know, it wouldn't be smart of her to show up here. She better not, you know, something along the lines of like, you guys know what will happen. And he blows this dog whistle with his hands. And I'm just, I mean, I'm terrified every day. Like I'm afraid to leave my house. I don't know what he's capable of and what he could or would do. There's been other people that have tried to get orders on him that were not successful in getting orders. And then he, well,
Randall's like, dude,
they work and live and tried to harass them. So I am extremely fearful that if this order is not renewed, he will use that same opportunity with me and show up to my children's schools, to my home, to where I am. And he says in his affidavit that the order prevents him from being able to travel.
What's up, Gonzo?
First Amendment rights. And
Good
that
to
is
see you,
completely
buddy.
false. I live in Medfield. I live nowhere near him. He has no reason to travel to my town. I don't go to anywhere that he goes. I don't want anything to do with him. I just want to be left alone. And
then why do you show up
I'm
everywhere
extremely
he's
fearful
at,
of
dude? Stop
what he
it.
might do. And if this order doesn't get renewed, I'm very, very scared about the lengths he will go to get revenge on me, as he has stated he will not go back to jail under any circumstances. And so, respectfully, Your Honor, I ask that this order be renewed for as long as possible, for at least a year. But
Thank you very much. One question. You said you're afraid that he'll go to your children's schools. Has he ever gone to your children's school?
no, Your Honor, but he's no, my school has received numerous calls and emails.
No, Your Honor, but
with, sexual text messages between me and the defendant that only he had, and references to his case.
From who?
It's from anonymous accounts.
All right. Thank you very much, ma'am. Counsel, do you have any questions for the plaintiff?
Yes, I do, Your Honor. And that you said a couple of times here that you're scared of Mr. Carney every single day, terrified. You seem like you're trembling, you're crying, you're having a rough time, right?
Yes.
On October 15th, 2024, you sent a tweet basically proclaiming that you're.
oh, Meredith, you don't have to do that. Thank you. But you know what? You get a song. It's happening. It's happening.
Oh, here we go. Yeah.
I think we got a super cat. Super cat. I think we got a super cat. Super cat. Super cat. Super cat. Cat, 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 cat. I think we got a super cat.
How dare you?
Meredith, thank you so much. Thank you for being one of the first to report on the truth of what happened when Aiden went to jail and for your continued support this last year. Oh, it's my pleasure, man. Seriously, dude. Aiden's my boy, man. Like, the bottom line is what's right is right. That's just what it boils down to. It's just a question of like following this and watching it unfold in real time. I'm still waiting on dude to be fucking anything that they're accusing him of being. Like, it's not going to happen. Why can't I click on that? It won't let me highlight it. That's weird. But I'll read it. Oh, there we go. Yeah, man. A lot of people were afraid to call it out when it first happened. You called her out on Christmas night when you heard the tape. That meant a lot that it was believed. Dude, I mean, it's right there. Yeah, of course. Dude, it was right there. I mean, you hear a recording. There's no way. You just have to be a fucking fool, dude, to hear the recording and then sit here and act like, and Krusty Panties tried to spin it and everything, you know, and I'm like, I could hear him saying, that this is being recorded. You know, I'm recording this. And then just listening to the recording, I'm like, dude, the guy how many times is saying that he's trying to leave? He's trying to leave. That's not somebody who is abusing someone. He's trying to leave. Like, and the fact that this even went as far as it did with that recording existing, was like, what the fuck is going on here?
You're not scared of them.
I'd have to see the tweet.
May I? So my question to you, ma'am, is you sent that
I'm
tweet, correct?
sorry, I'm still reading. It doesn't say, I don't say that.
There's no
I'm,
question, there's no question before you, look up when you're done reading the
Okay.
text.
You read the text?
Yes.
You sent that tweet rather, right?
Dude.
Correct?
I posted.
You posted it. Thank you. I'll take that from you. I'll put this judge's next to it.
I would object to the, there's no context.
So objecting to the context.
Dude. Look at this, bro. Look at this shit. Oh, fuck. It's the wrong one. My bad. Hold on. I already downloaded it, though. I just don't want to have to download it again. Whatever. Fuck it. No, well, whatever. I was gonna just fuck it. Let me just go back to it. I was gonna just show, like, dude, there's 252 pages. 252 pages of her insane tweets. Like, that's not somebody who's scared. That's a crazy person.
Your objection is noted. Overruled. This will be entered as-
That's a dangerous person.
Now, ma'am, you testified about a phone call that you say was made by Mr. Carney from a 413 number on August 22nd, 2024, correct?
Correct.
And it sounds like a horrible incident. 46 seconds, taunting about presents for your kids, using a voice changer. It sounds really pretty evil and insidious, right?
Yes.
And so I presume that you called 911.
Yeah, that's true, Mike B.
and
Thank you.
Make a police report.
I did, they came to my home.
Do you have it?
No,
Did you bring it to offer to the court?
No.
Man, the fact is, this is a fake phone record, isn't that true?
no,
Wow.
So you don't
A
have any
fake
documentation
phone
of
record.
anything that you say happened here to offer the court today, correct?
I don't understand the question.
Just your word. You just have your word. You don't have any police reports. You don't have any recordings. You don't have anything. Do you?
I didn't bring them. No.
Now, you also offered the court a stack of internet postings, some of which are from Mr. Carney, some of which that were not admitted to evidence are from other people, right?
Correct.
Now, do you have a copy of your exhibit?
Yes, I do.
Can you look through there and just show me where there's any sort of threat to do bodily harm or property damage? Take all the time you need.
It's just her just flipping through these pages and shit, like wasting everybody's fucking time.
I don't think there's any threats about property damage in these.
What about bodily harm? Is there anything? I'm going to choke you. I'm going to get you. I'm going to beat you. I'm going to strangle you. I'm going to do anything to you. Such as
Anything, fucking anything.
For materiality of relevance, given that this is a 290 order, there's nothing in there whatsoever beyond a general fear of disparagement, which I would contend is not sufficient.
It's still potentially relevant for coercion purposes, so your motion is registered tonight.
Thank you, Respect, Your Honor, only. Just one moment, please, Your Honor. Now, the basis for this order a year ago was an incident that happened at your house on December 23rd, 2023, correct?
Correct.
And
I know,
it's fair to say
dude.
that the allegation
Dude,
of physical harm-
that's what I'm trying to say, bro. Like, I fucking the other night I went through, like, I started reading them. I only read like 2 or 3 of them, maybe. And like, dude, it's 252 pages. Like, I just scrolled, just showed everybody. I was like, look at this shit. It doesn't fucking stop. I was trying to do that just now, but it made me download it, and then it just wouldn't download this time, which is weird. But yeah, it was insane amount of text messages. An insane amount.
that you had taken some personal
Or
property with Mr.
tweets.
Carney,
Sorry,
notes,
tweets and
stuffed them in
shit.
your shirt or hid them in your mattress, depending on what document you consult that you wrote, what caused to be written, and that in some sort of struggle to get those papers back, you fell down to the couch. Is that right?
No, that's not correct.
Well, isn't that what you told the police, that you were pushed down onto the couch?
Okay,
I told the
Cherry.
police that I was grabbed by the wrist and the arm and then pushed onto the couch. You just asked me if I fell onto the couch, and that's not correct. I
All
didn't
right, so
fall.
you were pushed onto the couch by Mr. Carney. That was the extent of the physical contact that was alleged by you, correct?
From that night, correct.
And that was the basis for the assault and battery charge that was brought, and that you then based your application for a restraining order on, correct?
That and the threats, the witness intimidation.
That's in witness intimidation. But in terms of bodily harm, the only bodily harm that you've alleged is this being pushed on the couch allegation, right?
And also the grabbing of my arms, yes.
And you've since recanted that twice, haven't you?
No, I have
You
not.
said to
Dude, like
Rich Barrett that it never happened.
when
Is that
you
right?
hear that recording, bro, like when you hear that recording, like I don't like that what Aiden's saying doesn't match someone grabbing somebody by the arm or fucking pushing them, and you know what I mean? Like it just doesn't, it doesn't, you know. Now, granted, it's only audio, you know what I mean? But we already know that she's a fucking liar because she told somebody that she fucking lied about it. So she fucking told somebody that she lied about it. But like when you listen to it, you're like, this doesn't even, that's not even consistent with somebody who's pushing somebody on couches and shit. Like he's trying to leave, dude. If anything, he's getting pushed on the couch. He's trying to leave. He's not going, all right, listen, I'm gonna get out of here. Grabbing people's arms and shit. That's not what it's like. Listen, I gotta go. It's Christmas Eve. That's not what somebody's doing when they're saying shit like that.
So, do you know Mary Bagwell?
Yes, I do.
How do you know Mary Bagwell?
She used to be in a group chat that I was in with some other people who believed that Karen Reed was guilty.
Isn't it true that you told Mary Bagwell, your former friend, that getting pushed onto the couch by Mr. Carney never happened? And when Ms. Bagwell told you that you need to do the right thing and tell the truth, you said, no, you're stuck with it because the police are pressuring you and you can't take it back. Isn't that right?
Completely false.
Was that before or after you threatened to murder her and her children?
I just told you that was false.
Did you threaten to murder her and her children?
Your Honor, I would object because this has no relevancy to this case.
Objection is overruled. Please answer the question.
Your Honor, I'd like to, this is a pending matter, so I don't know if I have a privilege here. If it's Fifth Amendment privilege to invoke. Mr. Carney claimed in his affidavit that I am going to be getting criminal charges against me, but I have not received anything yet, so.
What we'll do is I'll set this matter back. I'll give you an opportunity, I'll appoint an attorney, I'll give you an opportunity to speak with that attorney, and then we'll proceed accordingly after I hear from the attorney.
Thank you for the call.
Thank you very much.
Court, all rise. This court stands at recess. We've been all the way. Thank you.
Holy shit, man. Like it snowed like a lot outside. Crazy.
Okay, so she's got Mary
Hold on. I gotta hear this shit one more time because
Isn't that being pushed on the couch allegation? You then based your application for the.
Asked me if I fell onto the couch, and that's not correct. I
All
didn't
right, so
fall.
you were pushed.
I was correct.
Well, isn't that what you told the police, that you were pushed down onto the couch?
I told the police that I was grabbed by the wrist and the arm and then pushed onto the couch. You just asked me if I fell onto the couch, and that's not correct. I
All
didn't
right, so
fall.
you were pushed onto the couch by Mr. Carney. That was the extent of the physical contact that was alleged by you, correct?
From that night, correct.
And that was the basis for the assault and battery charge that was brought, and that you then based your application for a restraining order on, correct?
That
oops.
and the threats, the witness intimidation.
That's in witness
So
intimidation.
you
In terms of
see what
bodily harm,
Bradle's doing
the only bodily
here.
harm-
He's smart. Like, I mean, this is why Bradle's the lawyer and she's not, right? So what he does there is he's saying that the basis, he's getting her testimony, and that the entire basis of her restraining order, the basis of his assault charge, and then which turned out to be the basis for his restraining order, is that she alleged that he pushed her onto the couch. Right? Okay. But the problem with that is once he establishes this, it's a question of whether the judge believes whether or not that happened. Because now he's setting up for the fact that Mary Bagwell is going to testify. Because in her sworn affidavit, she claims that Lindsay Gattani admitted to her that she lied about it. And then when she was like, you need to tell the cops, she was like, no, we've already gone too far. What?
That you've alleged is this being pushed on the couch allegation, right?
And also the grabbing of my arms, yes.
And you've since recanted that twice, haven't you?
No, I have
You
not.
said to Grace Barrett that it never happened. Isn't that right?
That's completely false.
And you also, do you know Mary Bagwell?
Yes, I do.
How do you know Mary Bagwell?
She used to be in a group chat that I was in with some other people who believed that Karen Reed was guilty.
Isn't it true that you told Mary Bagwell, your former friend, that getting pushed onto the couch by Mr. Carney never happened? And when Miss Bagwell told you that you need to do the right thing and tell the truth, you said, no, you're stuck with it because the police are pressuring you and you can't take it back. Isn't that right?
Completely false.
Was that before or after you threatened to murder her and her children?
Completely false.
I just told you that was false.
Did you threaten to murder her and her children?
And I would object because this has no relevancy to this case.
Okay, right there.
Your Honor, I'd
Now-
like to-
She couldn't deny that because she's recorded saying it. So she couldn't deny it. So she tried to be like, I object because there's no relevance to this case. So the judge is like, well, wait a minute, wait. You're not denying that you threatened to kill her and her children? Okay, I'm listening.
this is a pending matter, so I don't know if I have a privilege here. Fifth Amendment privilege to invoke.
That dude said
It's for any
overruled.
reason affidavit that I am going to be getting criminal charges against me, but I have not received anything yet. So
What we'll do is I'll step this matter back. I'll give you an opportunity, I'll appoint an attorney, I'll give you an opportunity to speak with that attorney, and then we'll proceed accordingly after I hear from the attorney.
Thank you. Protocol.
So there, he's going to appoint her an attorney
Court, all rise.
because he's like,
Court stands at recess until 12. Thank you.
yikes.
Thank you very much. I'm not going to bar further inquiry, so you may ask other questions and you may continue with your cross-examination.
Thank you very much, Your Honor. I asked the court.
But before we go on, I'd also give you an opportunity to make an offer of proof of what you think her response will be.
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. The plaintiff struck a friendship with one of our witnesses today, Ms. Mary Bagwell, and they had a commonality surrounding the Karen Reed murder trial across the street, wherein they were both sort of anti-Karen Reed, pro-conviction protesters. So in other words, just for clarity's sake, taking a position opposite of my client. So Ms. Bagwell's on the other side, so to speak, on that case. She's not
That's really
follower
what
of
it boils down
our
to.
side.
They're not anti-Karen Reed. They're pro-opposition Turtle Boy. That's it. That's it. That's all these people all have in common. All of them. It's really fucking fascinating. And they're not even aware of each other yet. They just fucking, the thing that brings them together is talking shit about Turtle Boy. It's just really funny.
And they struck up a friendship. And Ms. Bagwell took issue with some things that Ms. Katani did with her children, driving while intoxicated with her children, and talked about that. And in the course of that friendship, Ms. Katani, this is our offer of proof that Ms. Bagwell will testify to, that,
That's not what I'm asking. What
oh,
I'm
I'm sorry.
asking is for an offer of proof regarding what you believe the plaintiff's response. would have been.
a truthful response, Judge, would be that she called Ms. Bagwell, and I'll give you the background later. I'm sorry, I didn't quite understand.
Thank you, Just Irish.
She called Ms. Bagwell and threatened to murder her and her children. And I have a tape recording of it that I would offer as well. And I'd like to play that as a part of my offer of proof, if I may.
I'd like to object to that, Your Honor.
Well, it's being played as an offer of proof at this point. Your objection is noted. I'm not accepting it as evidence. I'm just permitting him to make a record regarding.
I'd like to object to that, Your Honor.
I have not-
Yeah, but
why it's going regarding-
you
May I make a
can't.
comment? Because the recording was taken without my knowledge, and I don't know the relevancy as well. So
No, thank you for that. You may continue with your offer of proof.
You're crying about my kids on the internet. I'm not crying about your kids, Tracy. Everything was true that I said. You stupid bitch. Really? Stop drinking. You want to stop drinking? You can't stop me, God. I will come to your house. I'll murder you in your
Okay, hold on. There is where she said it. But hold on, let me play this in normal speed.
drinking. You can't stop me, God. I will come to your house. I'll murder you and your kids. You understand me? Stop me, God. I will come to your house. I'll murder you and your kids. You understand me? You stop me, God. I will come to your house. I'll murder you and your kids. You understand me? You dumb bitch, God. I will come to your house. I'll murder you and your kids. You understand me? You dumb bitch. I will come to your house. I'll murder you and your kids. You understand me? You dumb bitch.
So, Ms. Bagwell, we intend to call her, authenticate that tape.
Yikes.
Ms. Katani, it's the third, if not more than the third time that Ms. Bagwell was threatened by Ms. Katani, resulting in Ms. Bagwell going to the Attleboro District Court and obtaining
She was like, could I object to this?
of criminal harassment order, Your Honor, against Ms. Katani, which is pending. And there's also an upcoming criminal complaint for threats against Ms. Katani.
So your offer of proof is noted.
JFK, what's up, buddy?
Again, that is not coming in as evidence at this time. Madam Plaintiff, counsel, you may continue your inquiry regarding cross-examination.
Thank you, Judge. And this certainly isn't, Your Honor is the fact finder, and I'm not looking for a response to this, but I would invite the court as the fact finder to make a negative inference due to the invocation of the Fifth Amendment privilege in a civil matter.
I am not going to do that, so your request is denied. But I'll certainly hear any testimony, and I'll certainly hear any arguments later regarding the admissible evidence.
Thank you very much, Your Honor. So, Ms. Catani, you know Mary Bagwell, correct?
Correct.
And how did you meet Ms. Bagwell?
Met her at a protest with Karen Reed trial.
And you got to be very friendly with her, correct?
Yeah, I'd say we were cordial.
You shared your domestic violence history, and she shared her history as well. Is that right?
I didn't share much of my history with her.
You met her about June of 2024. Is that right?
I would say so.
On that date, actually June 1st, 2024, you also were protesting with Ms. Bagwell at the Karen Reed case, correct?
I don't remember the exact date.
So it's fair to say on a couple of occasions, you were with Ms. Bagwell when the Karen Reed case was going on across the street, correct?
I believe it was twice, yes.
And one time you saw Mr. Carney in the vicinity in June, correct?
No, not correct.
All right, Scott McGinnis,
Well,
be safe, buddy.
You spoke with Ms. Bagwell about allegedly Aiden showing up. Isn't that right?
Yes.
And that's about the time when you were very angry that the state police had provided your phone extraction to the defense in the criminal matters that you're involved with regarding Mr. Carney, right?
Thank you,
I
blessed
believe
mom
that
from
was 7 months
Texas.
later.
Well, you were mad that you felt like you were lied to by the police, that only parts of your phone were going to go to the defense, but the entire phone went to the defense, right?
Correct.
And you said to Ms. Bagwell that if you had known that, you would have never agreed to cooperate with them and give them your phone, right?
I said I would have never given my phone. I didn't say I wouldn't have cooperated.
And Mary Bagwell was trying to be sympathetic. She said to you that she was sorry
See,
that you were going through this, but don't worry.
this is the genius behind Bradel here. So what Bradel's doing is he's showing the judge, he's putting her in a position to where she's going to show the judge she's going to tell the truth about some things and admit some things, but lie about other things. So here she is, and she's admitting to having these conversations with Mary Bagwell. But it's convenient now that certain things she admits to saying to Mary Bagwell, but then denies the stuff that matters as to why they happen to be there in the first place, which is the fact that she admitted to Mary Bagwell that Aiden had never assaulted her. So it's convenient now. That's how it looks. It looks very convenient that she is going to deny that, but admit to all this other stuff that she supposedly said to Mary Bagwell.
Everything's going to be okay, right?
I don't recall what her response was.
And you got upset. You said, no, it won't be okay. My kid's birth records, school records, doctor contacts are all stuff he now has. You said that to Mary, right?
I don't recall this conversation.
So back
I
to
hear you,
Bagwell.
dude.
You related part of that.
Just to take a quick little detour here. I hear you, Scott McGinnis, man. Like, listening to Grant, I'm just like, man, enough's enough. Like, shut up already, dude. I get it. I get it. I feel you.
At night to Ms. Bagwell, didn't you?
Attorney Bradel, I've told you
Yes or no?
multiple times I never had this conversation with Mary Bagwell.
You just said you
Told
did.
Mary Bagwell that Aiden Carney did not push you on the couch or assault you. Isn't that correct?
Did not know that is not correct.
You said to Mary that he was just grabbing at the papers. Isn't that right?
No.
Mary told you to do the right thing and tell the truth, didn't you? You were screaming and crying at her. She felt bad for you and gave you a tissue, didn't she?
No, it's never happened.
You felt badly for what you did, and you expressed that to Ms. Bagwell, didn't you?
No, never did.
So then as July goes on, Ms. Bagwell expressed concerns to you about your parenting and your drinking, did she not?
No, she never did.
She never did. That was in the summer of 2024, wasn't it?
Never happened.
What a liar.
You started to get annoyed with Ms. Bagwell. You started calling her a bitch, tell her to worry about her own fucking kids, and that she had better stop
Welcome,
talking.
Caroline
And that she didn't know
Small.
who she was fucking with. And that you said initially that I will come to your house and beat your ass in front of your kids. All right?
No answer to that question. That was the Fifth Amendment issue.
I mean, we just heard a recording of you threatening to
December of
kill
2024. So
her
last
kids.
month, you called Ms. Bagwell 8 times from a blocked number, correct?
No.
Didn't you admit to the Attleboro court judge that you did so?
It was 4 times.
So you admitted to doing it 4 times
Wow.
to the Attleboro judge?
Yes.
And just to point out, before
Wow.
Ms. Katani answers, my next question would be, you also admitted to the North Attleboro judge that you called Ms. Bagwell and threatened to murder her and her children, come to the house and murder her and her children. And there's an admission in the court record in Attleboro. That's my question.
I appreciate you presenting that to the court first, and you may not have that question, counsel, but you may proceed with your
Thank you. And just in terms of an offer of proof, I would contend, Judge, that that's my information from my witness, and that I would make an offer of proof, and I make a legal argument, Judge, that Ms. Katani has waived her Fifth Amendment privilege relative to this transaction by testifying to it in the Attleboro court. Just my legal argument.
Your offer of proof and your arguments noted, but overruled at this time insofar as you can ask that question.
Thank you, Mr. Now, ma'am, you talked about the pending violation of a restraining order case in this court. You recall talking to the judge about that? Judge Clifford, here today
The pending restraining order case with who?
with Mr. Carney. You spoke to Judge Clifford about that today, correct?
Correct.
And that was on 2/26/24, correct?
I'm confused.
On 2/26/24, you were
The
at,
violation. I'm sorry.
that's okay. You were, all right, let's rewind a little bit. There's a pending violation of a restraining order case in this court, correct?
Yes, correct.
And that was on 2/26/24, resulting from you coming out of a Karen Reed murder case hearing, claiming that Mr. Carney was violating the order against you, right? Remember you told Judge Clifford about that, right?
Yes.
You said something to the effect that you were concerned that you couldn't get to your car because he was sort of blocking the way, something to that effect, right?
Something that I was forced to walk down as he followed.
And you told the police that he was screaming at you, liar, liar, correct?
Yes.
And you implied or said to the police that you perceived that and experienced emotional distress from that and fear, right?
I don't remember all my exact words.
I'm not asking you for your words. I'm asking if you remember what your emotions were at the time. Fear and emotional distress, right?
After the hearing.
Fear
Yeah,
and
when you said this
emotional
thing happened.
distress, bro.
So isn't it true that you had no perception or realization that Mr. Carney was anywhere near you when you came out of that courthouse?
No, that's not true.
That's not true. All right, let's go through it. So you get out of there. It was a quick hearing that day, right? It was about a 10-minute hearing and you were out
Let's
of there.
go
about 2
through
p.m.,
it.
Right?
Should I answer these questions where we still have not had a trial this time?
Please answer the question.
Can you repeat, please?
You got out of the Karen Reed case that day on 2.
Bro, like, so she's, Judge, can you help me, please? Can you, please, pretty please? Can you remind him that I'm not on trial here? My man's like, answer the question. Trifling ass. Shut your trifling ass up and answer the question.
2/26/24 at about 2:10 or 2:15 p.m., right?
I don't remember.
You remember the day. It was a quick hearing,
I
right?
remember the day, but I don't remember the time.
You came into that courtroom and you were acting like as a human shield to kick Mr. Carney out of there, weren't you?
No.
You stoked up a friendship with people that are antagonistic to him, and they brought you to court that day to kick Mr. Carney out with that restraining order, right?
No.
Well, you walked into that courtroom at about 2 o'clock with the restraining order copy in your hand, didn't you?
I walked into the courthouse when I went through security. Well, before I went to the courthouse, a member from the group called ahead to let them know there was a potential
My
that
question was that you went into the courtroom with the restraining order in your hand, correct?
I was told to have it out already. Yes.
So it's a yes.
Yes.
You went in there, you knew Mr. Carney was already in there, performing his job as a journalist, covering the Karen Reed trial, correct?
I didn't know.
You knew he was in there, didn't you?
I knew there was a potential he could be in there.
Mr. Carney had publicly announced that he was.
I
going
knew
to
there was a
Karen Reed case that day.
potential
You
he
knew
would
about
be
it.
in there.
Isn't that right?
The fuck
You
out
went
of
in there
here.
with the restraining order in your hand to flush Mr. Carney out of that courtroom at the behest of all the people. on the
Totally.
side of that case to exact revenge on Mr. Carney. Isn't that right?
No, it's not right.
Mr. Carney was in the room, wasn't he?
Because if I remember correctly, I could be wrong, but I feel like I remember Krusty Panty's phone call saying that she had the restraining order. That she had the restraining order with her.
He got up as soon as he saw you and he left, didn't
I believe it was asked to leave by one of the courthouse.
he? Mr. Carney left and went out of the courtroom, right?
He did.
The hearing was quick and you were leaving with a big group of people, right? You left the courthouse. There was a huge throng of people outside and everyone was dispersing as they will from a court hearing, right?
Yes.
You were with a group of people. You exited the Dedham Superior Court, the Norfolk Superior Court. You made a right and you went behind the registry building to go to your car, correct?
I made a right.
Walked across the street?
Yep, cross over. And then yes, went behind the
And you were with a big group of people, weren't you?
Yes.
And that's when you claim that you hear Mr. Carney yelling, liar, liar, and you see him and perceive him and experience emotional distress from him, right? And he's violating the
Fuck
restraining
out of
order, right?
here.
Then you go to the back of the registry building with a group of people and you go to your car, right?
Yes.
And you think that somebody did something to your car, right?
Somebody did do something to my car.
And you call the police because someone did something to your car, right?
Yes.
And
Well, I did not call the police. A member from the group.
and Officer Kozak responded to a report about damage to a motor vehicle, right? From the Dedham Police.
I believe, I think that's what it was.
And the time received was 14:32:06, so 2:32 p.m.
Sounds about right.
So he was there about 10 minutes after you got out of there.
If that's the time you have.
And you had just experienced a blatant violation of a restraining order from Mr. Carney, calling you a liar, screaming at you, causing you upset, causing you to be in fear. That's your testimony, right?
Yes.
So you must have told Officer Kozak 10 minutes later that Mr. Carney was in violation of your restraining order and that he should walk 5 minutes away and arrest him.
I told him about the violation. I didn't order him to do his job.
You told him about the violation.
Yes.
So Officer Kozak no doubt would have put that in his report, that you told him about a restraining order violation that just blatantly happened to you 5 minutes prior, 10 minutes prior to his response, right?
I would thought-
Oops.
Officer Kozak's report speaks for itself.
I wonder what's not going to be in there.
And sorry, Judge. Let me know when you're ready, Judge.
All right, any objection to the same?
No.
Okay, so this item will come in as exhibit number 3.
Yes, Your Honor. Enter exhibit 3.
Next, proceed, attorney.
Thank you.
Yeah, I remember when you went live and
So
talked
you never-
about it.
You didn't report it to Mr. Officer
I remember
Kozak?
that.
He didn't put it in his report because that never happened, isn't that right?
I did report it to Officer Kozak, and it did happen.
Officer Kozak came in to the hearing that you participated in based on your story here to try to revoke Mr. Carney's bail and send him back to jail when this happened, isn't that right? He testified right in front of you, didn't he?
I don't remember him testifying.
Officer Kozak came to that hearing. He
Bro,
testified that he said
totally
nothing about
did.
any restraining order violation 5 minutes prior by Mr. Carney.
I
didn't he?
totally remember that. I covered
I
that.
don't remember.
I remember when it
I have,
happened.
Officer Kozak's testimony. I don't
That
have a
that
separate
dude
copy
was
of it,
like,
but,
yeah,
I can either
that never
I'm sorry, we
happened.
actually have it on a flash drive. So I just would call your attention to that, invite your attention to that, if I may, as a fact finder, that you're going to have Officer Kozak's testimony from the prior hearing where Officer Kozak corroborates everything I just said about him and his own police report that Ms. Katani said nothing about any restraining order violation 5 minutes prior. So I offer that. Now,
That's not coming in, but I have the report and I have his narrative, which addresses that issue. And that has been entered as exhibit.
all right, thank you, Your Honor. I'll leave it at that. I just have one moment, please, Your Honor.
See, the thing is, Scott
So, Mr.
McGinnis,
Katani,
man,
you
these
know that Mr.
psychos, they
Carney's
know how to
profession
hide that
is-
shit.
As a journalist to cover the Karen Reed case, right?
I wouldn't say that's his profession.
Well, you know that Mr. Carney is covering the Karen Reed case and reporting on it prolifically. Isn't that fair to say?
Yes.
And so if you're afraid of him, you could just not go to the
Thank you,
Karen Reed
Clint.
case
He's
where he
passed
works.
the pepper.
Isn't that right?
I could.
But you don't, correct?
I went to the Karen Reed hearing.
When Mr. Carney announces that he's going to be at the Karen Reed hearing cases, sorry, strike that. When Mr. Carney announces that he's going to be at the Karen Reed case hearings, you show up. When Mr. Carney announces publicly on his Twitter feed or his Facebook that he's not going to go, you don't go. Isn't that right?
No.
And you only developed an interest in attending Karen Reed hearings after you got a restraining order on him. Isn't that right?
No, that's not right.
You're trying to use the restraining order as a sword rather than a shield to try to get him in trouble with it, rather than use it as protection. Isn't that right?
No.
So
Get
you just
the
have an
fuck outta
abiding
here.
interest in the Karen Reed hearings and you want to go there
Get her,
all of your own
Bradle.
accord?
I was interested in the case. That's how I met him.
You never went to a Karen Reed hearing until you got the restraining order. Isn't that right?
I didn't go inside the court, so I went to a protest.
I love this shit, dude. I
Just
love
take a
hearing
moment, please.
fucking Bradle tear her apart. I love that shit. I love that she's getting sued now. I love
Now,
this
June
shit.
28th, you were at a Karen Reed hearing and you gave a media interview, correct?
I don't recall.
You walked right up to a camera right near where Mr. Carney was and you started talking to the media, didn't you?
No.
It's fair to say that on many occasions, you seek out Mr. Carney, you try to tweak him, you try to go to where he is and cause some trouble. Isn't that a fair statement?
Absolutely not.
So you just have an abiding personal interest in the Karen Reed case that just coincidentally meshes with whenever Mr. Carney is present covering the hearing?
I've only been to 2 Karen Reed hearings, and I went to 2 protests, and I never paid attention to if he was going or what he was doing. And the 2 protests I went to were after that order was amended.
And
Stop
you're also
it.
trying to keep the attention on you, keep the
Stop it.
controversy going because you're trying to make money off it. Isn't that right?
No.
You have bragged about a big film deal that you're involved in where you're going to be played by someone and you're going to make money off of a film contract. Isn't that right?
That was a joke.
It was a joke.
Folks, quiet, please.
People in the gallery are like, oh, get the fuck out of here. Thank you, Serenity. I appreciate it. The hearing is the bomb finally.
Now,
aimed
in
at
December
school.
of 23, it's fair to say that your relationship with Mr. Carney had been winding down.
Yeah, we broke up in early December.
And you called him in a fit of rage around December 9th, saying that you were going to be his worst nightmare and that he didn't know who he was fucking with and that you were basically going to get him. Isn't that right?
Just let me record the years.
23, Your Honor.
I don't recall. I don't remember ever making.
I don't recall.
And
So
you
she's
claimed
not
you
even
were pregnant with
denying
a
it.
child, right?
Yes.
And you showed him pictures of some sort of medical pictures that you claimed were linked to your pregnancy with Mr. Carney, correct? And in fact, those pictures, the metadata of those pictures showed that
The
those pictures
metadata.
were a couple of years prior to any interaction with Mr. Carney,
Couple
weren't
of
they?
years prior. Not even, dude.
And in December of 2023, you called Mr. Carney on the phone.
Like, how stupid are you, bro? You know what I mean? Like how stupid are you to think that Aiden Carney isn't gonna fucking check the metadata on something like that? Like, how fucking dumb are you to not? That shit is so I remember when that shit happened. I remember that shit. I remember when this shit fucking happened. Like, this dude, you guys don't understand. Like, Aiden has had her number for fucking months. Months. This is what I'm trying to tell y'all. Like, these things take time. You know? These things take time. But, like, this is all stuff. I mean, he's been one step ahead of her from the get-go. Like, yeah, he got locked up for 2 months. He fell for that trap. But he knew that there was a possibility that he was going to. Otherwise, he wouldn't have recorded her. He absolutely recorded her. He knew what was going on. But, like, somebody tells you that they're going to have an abortion, you know, like, as a man, you kind of got to do it. But, like, dude knew what was possibly going to come, you know? But think about it. From that point, moving forward, he's been one step ahead of her. Like, you could tell just by the way Bradle is just, like, nailing her with this shit. Like, he's just bombarding her with shit that incriminates her. Yeah, fair point. Exactly. That's what I mean. No one would have ever fucking believed her. No one would have ever fucking believed you. I mean, nobody would have ever believed you. Yeah, I'm
using this pregnancy story, threatening to, quote, drop that fetal alcohol syndrome baby off at your house and party my fucking life away. You said that to him, didn't you?
like, think about that.
On December 9th, 2023.
All that shit, all of these lies around the lie that she's pregnant. You know what I mean? Like, that's some sick shit. That's sick.
I don't recall the exact words I used.
You said that ending the relationship was going to be Mr. Carney's, quote, biggest regret. You said it's going to be the biggest regret of your life to Mr. Carney, right?
I don't remember.
And this, all of this,
Thank you,
all of
dog
these
mom.
machinations over the last year, reporting investigator Chapetta to the police with nothing happening.
Yeah, like, think about that shit. Like, using the lie that she's pregnant and then trying to manipulate him by threatening, like, I'm gonna drop this fucking fetal alcohol baby off. What? Who fucking talks like that? I mean, I got a foul mouth, but god damn, that is fucking, dude. Who talks like that? You gotta have, there's gotta be a void in one's soul where words like that come out. And I've seen people talk like this before. Like, but it's always, it's consistent with this person and her shittiness, dude. You know what I mean? Like, the same, it's it's like there's some sort of blueprint that God makes for crazy fucked up women like this. And then like it's crazy.
Happening from it, reporting me to the Board of Bar Overseers with nothing happening from it, threatening to murder Mary Bagwell because of it. This is all part of your campaign to exact revenge on Mr. Carney. Isn't that correct?
Don't answer that question. Again, that goes into the Fifth Amendment issue. Three grade, you know that.
I'm sorry, just one moment, please. Now, you claim that you want to get away from Mr. Carney, right? You don't want to interact with him. You're afraid of him. You want to just get him out of your life, right?
Yes.
So if one were to print out all of the texts, all of the tweets, all of the references to Mr. Carney, it would probably be about 3 inches thick, wouldn't it?
I've never contacted him. Tweets began 6 months after he had been harassing me, and I started to tweet the truth out there because he was defaming me all on the internet. So you probably find a significant number of tweets.
Get the fuck out of here with that bullshit.
Just
Stop
tell me
it.
what- Tell me when,
Once again, quiet, please.
tell me when you're done. And I'm just gonna ask you in general, what is that pile?
Yeah, look at what Turtle Boy posted there. Says the crowd reacted to the size of the pile. She spends several minutes going through the pile of tweets. 252 pages. Dude, I'm telling you.
Most of these look like tweets from me responding to the lies that he's put out there about me.
All right, I'm just gonna retrieve that back from you, please. So, it's fair to say
So
that
like
there's a
the
3 inch thick-
gallery
I'm
is
gonna
like,
share the
what the
contents of this story,
fuck?
and that's what you just described, that it's a 3 inch thick pile of tweets criticizing him, needling him, provoking him.
3-inch thick.
In response to probably a pile this high from him about me, yes.
And you gave that pile, as you call it, to the court here today, right?
No.
So you don't have it then?
If I were to print out everything that he has written and said about me, it would take me years. He does 3 shows a week that are 3+ hours long each. He has Facebook, Twitter, every social media platform, posts about me daily for the past year.
And every
Dude, he
time-
barely ever
every
even
time
fucking
he tries to
discusses
defend
her at
himself,
all.
You accuse him of something else, don't you?
No, it's false.
You also contacted him on February 22nd, 2024 at 1:57 a.m., didn't you?
That's the only contact I've ever had that I've already explained in court under oath. That was an accidental call when I was printing out evidence for my grand jury testimony the following morning. He was still in jail, and I accidentally hit the button because I fell asleep while I was printing, screenshotting and printing evidence from my phone.
So you have to go through 3 different efforts to unblock someone to then call them, right?
I didn't have him blocked. I had him unfriended. I never had him blocked.
Isn't it true that the printout of this call has an option to unblock him, which suggests that you had him blocked?
I
And I
took
can
the
show you that.
I already know. I have a screenshot.
So this is a
Like you
screenshot
had him
of your
blocked,
Facebook
bro.
call.
Stop it.
Actually, his
Stop it.
screenshot. So that's his option to unblock me, which means he had me blocked.
As he should. I offer this judge as the next exhibit.
Folks, once again,
The gallery's like, dude, what the fuck, lady?
Then you also-
Stop that shit.
I mean, I objected the testimony about it. It's not correct what he's saying, but
All right, thank you. This will be entered as exhibit number 4.
Exhibit 4, enter.
Very, very neat. Proceed.
And ma'am, you also called Mr. Carney Thursday, March 7th at 3:52 p.m.
no, I did not.
You texted him rather, I'm sorry.
No, I did not.
Did not. Let me show you this document. Have you ever seen that before?
Yes, I started in court. at one of-
Radel just busts
And
out
that's a text that you wrote to
receipts.
Mr. Carney on that date, even though you had the restraining order, right?
Absolutely not. That text is not from me.
Well, it talks about things that only you would know, right? Like the fact that Mr. Carney was arrested.
I don't know how that's something that only I would know. Everybody knew it was on the news.
Well, the message talks about his girlfriend Meredith. It talks about that he's going to
Oops.
jail, or he can live stream right now, apologize, and call yourself a little bitch. And you have 15 minutes.
I
Ooh.
absolutely did not.
Yeah, who else could have possibly done
The
that?
text message also indicates that the police came and looked at your cell phone that day, and only you knew that. Isn't that right?
The police didn't come to look at my cell phone.
Hey, cops came up and asked to look at my phone and said you filed a complaint. So the text is in first person as if it's from you, right?
Wasn't me.
So you're saying that someone else just took it upon
Get
themselves
the
to
fuck
pretend
out
to
of
be
here
you
with the
and
wasn't
address
me
Mr. Carney
bullshit.
demanding an
Stop
apology?
it.
No, you're stating on that message that they're pretending to be me. You're alleging that it's me based on your own made up story. It's not. It wasn't for me. I didn't text him. I have not contacted him. I want nothing to do with him. I don't text him ever, and I never have.
Well, the 3 inches of needling that you just went through
The
show that
3
you do wanna-
inches
that
of
you do wanna engage with him. Isn't
needling.
that right?
No, I want to defend myself against the disgusting lies that he keeps spreading about me on his platform that has hundreds of thousands of viewers. I don't have an outreach like that, so he has destroyed my life with his lies.
Now, back to Ms. Bagwell for a moment. She went to the Attleboro court and got an order on you, correct?
Correct.
She also is a complainant in a pending criminal complaint matter as well. Isn't that correct?
I don't know.
How long is the harassment prevention order against you in effect for?
1 year.
do you have a date yet for the clerk's hearing as to the criminal complaint?
No.
That's all I have, Your Honor. Thank you very much.
Right. Do you have any other evidence you want the court to consider?
No, Your Honor.
Because you rested this time?
Yes, sir.
Attorney Bradley, do you have any evidence you want the court to
Judge,
consider?
I ask that the court enter a required finding relative to the lack of reasonable fear of imminent bodily harm. As the court's aware, the plaintiff needs to establish anew that they have a pending current reasonable fear of imminent serious bodily harm. There's been nothing in the record other than a generalized fear of disparagement. And on the face of the record, as it stands, getting pushed to the couch over a year ago, wouldn't satisfy as a matter of law any sort of incident that would validate a fear of imminent serious bodily harm. Imminent, one thing about the legal profession, judge, is that words have to have meaning. We all have to agree on the meaning of words. And imminent means something. Imminent is an element of that charge. And there's no imminency here. And there never was any imminency. And if the court wishes to hear more, we would put on Ms. Bagwell and Mr. Carney relative to this one precipitating incident over a year ago never happened. And so that's a factual issue. But in terms of we'll do it if the court doesn't rule in our favor on this. But the state of the plaintiff's evidence, before we go any further, is that she has a fear of disparagement. And, it sort of reminds me of O'Brien v. Borowski, Your Honor. Fear of being sued or fear of being disparaged is not a fear that can overcome the Constitution. It's not a fear that is lawfully recognized,
Right.
especially in a
Yeah, you can't just get a restraining order on somebody
reasonable fear of imminent serious bodily harm.
because you
So I
don't,
would ask the court to
don't
enter a
like
required
what they're
finding against
saying about you,
Which is not a typical motion in a restraining order. I'm going to make my conclusions after I've heard all the evidence.
or you don't like that they're even talking about
appreciate
you.
it.
Like, it
Call
doesn't
Mary
work
Bagwell,
that
please.
way.
She's just right outside the door.
So now they're going to bring in Mary Bagwell. I mean,
Would you raise your right hand? Do you swear in the
Yeah,
testimony you're
you-
to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? I do. You may sit or stand, whichever is more comfortable for you. Please keep your voice raised for the record.
May I inquire? Thank you. Hi, Ms. Bagwell.
Hi.
Please state your name and spell your last name.
Mary Bagwell, Bagwell.
And do you live in the town of Mansfield?
Yes, I do.
You're pretty much a lifelong resident of Mansfield?
Yes,
Do you have a family?
yes.
And who are they?
I have two sons, Jacob, he's 17, and Aaron, he's 29.
And you're in the finance and accounting industry,
Yes, I am.
and you work for a government contractor here in Massachusetts?
Yes, I've been there for 24 years.
All right. And you're a single mother of the boys?
Yes, I am.
Do you know the person sitting at the desk right in front of you here?
Yes, I do.
And who is that?
Lindsay Catani.
How do you know her?
We,
Just in general.
we used to be friends.
And when did you first meet her? Just in general.
April of around the springtime of 2024.
And what was the context of meeting the plaintiff?
We did protests together.
And that was just to kind of move it along. It was the Karen Reed murder case, and you would protest in favor of kind of the prosecution position. Is
Yes,
that right?
yes.
Okay. And so just so we're fair, it's not a position that was shared by Mr. Carney, to your knowledge, right?
No, it wasn't.
And what were the kind of what was the nature of your relationship with Ms. Catani, and how did it develop in a nutshell?
We started talking on the phone through a mutual friend. She would call us on a three-way call. After a couple of calls, and we all created they created a group chat in the Messenger app, and from there we would frequently, almost every day, we would all be either audio calling or video calling each other. So we regularly stayed in contact.
And with respect to strike that, you're aware of the criminal case that Ms. Catani is involved in, where Mr. Carney is charged with violating a restraining order, right?
Yes, I am.
And you're familiar with the case where Mr. Carney is accused of being at her house on the 23rd of December of 23, and some sort of altercation happened. Is that right?
Yes,
And so you were aware of these things when you were friends with Ms. Catani?
yes.
Did Ms. Catani have a conversation with you in the summer of 2024 about the true events that happened at her house on December 23rd
Yes.
of 23? What was the conversation?
She had told me that Aiden had taken notes from her phone, and he wrote them down in a notebook. When Aiden wasn't looking, she said that she ripped the pages out of the notebook and shoved them down her shirt. Aiden went to get his notes and noticed they were gone. He asked Ms. Catani where the notes were, and can you give them back to me, please? And from there, she ran into the bathroom, locked the door, and called Ken Mello. And she said that he didn't answer. And that she had also stated that he didn't push her on the couch or assault her. He was just grabbing at the papers. He was trying to get his papers back.
Did she strike that? Did you say anything to her about what you thought she should do in light of what she had told you?
I said, you need to tell the truth. And she said, I can't, because I have to stick with what I've already said.
Wow.
Was there anything else, if you can recall, about that particular conversation about the incident involving Mr. Carney?
She just felt very bad of what she did. She seemed to be struggling.
Did she ever, to your knowledge, act on feeling bad about it, or did she return to pressing that position?
Did she what? I'm sorry.
Did she act on that? Did she, to your knowledge, did she go to the police and explain it? Did she put out a tweet recanting it?
No.
To your knowledge?
No.
Did she return to the prior position that
252
that's what
pages
happened?
of not that.
Now, as your relationship with Ms. Catani evolved, Is it fair to say that the relationship got somewhat antagonistic?
Yes.
And tell us about that. What happened with respect to Ms. Katani and the way that she treated you, just in a nutshell?
I was just trying to help her get help with her drinking. There was an incident on June 18th, 2024.
Let me just stop you there. I don't want to go through a whole litany of things,
Okay.
but is it fair to say that you wrote an affidavit and signed it and provided it to the defense today?
Yes.
All right, and judge it off of that affidavit as necessary.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to take the affidavit as an exhibit. I'll certainly hear her testimony, so
Sure.
I'll listen whatever you wish.
Very good. Thank you, sir. That's fine. Thank you. Now, as the relationship kind of winded down between yourself and Ms. Katani, how did she treat you?
She made threats to me. She called me and she
Wow.
threatened me and she told me that I needed to shut my mouth and be quiet.
Did she threaten
Jesus,
to murder
dude.
you?
Yes, she did.
Did she threaten to murder your kids?
Yes, she did.
Were there more than 3 incidences of this type of behavior from Ms. Katani?
Yes.
And did that prompt you to take some advice and go to the Attleboro Court for an order?
Yes, it did.
And you got a criminal harassment order on her?
Yes, I
And
did.
that was fairly recently?
Yes,
When was it?
December 10th, my birthday.
And Ms. Katani went there and she testified, right?
Yes, on December 24th
24th
for the two-party.
two-party hearing. Got it.
Yes.
Thank you. And you witnessed her admit some things about your relationship and what happened, right?
Yes.
Did she admit threatening to murder you and your children?
Yes, she did.
What'd she say?
She admitted into the, well, first when my lawyer asked me
Jeez, dude.
if there was any criminal charges pending, I said yes. And then the judge stopped and advised Ms. Katani of her rights. And she went into great detail and explained it. And then when she got to the December 10th date, she said, I highly recommend and urge you to stay quiet. And she did not listen to the judge. She admitted to everything. She admitted that she felt remorse. She felt ashamed of her actions of like threatening to come to my house. She threatened to kill me. She threatened to rip my fucking head off and to come to my house and murder me and my children.
How many separate incidences were there of that kind of behavior from Ms. Katani towards you?
There were several.
Can you just put in a little more than several on it? What are we talking? A dozen, 8, 10, 6,
3.
3? Okay. What about calls from a block number?
Yes, yes. She admitted to Officer Kelly from the Mansfield Police Department. I did receive a phone call from Officer Kelly, and he stated to me that Ms. Katani went down to the Mansfield Police Station and that she admitted.
I'm not going to.
Hold on there, I'll ask you another
Okay.
question.
Next question.
So just what you saw her say. Tell the court, just in general, the important things that you saw Ms. Katani say right out of her own mouth.
She admitted that that was her on the recording and that she threatened to murder me and my children.
Wow. Like, Jesus, dude.
Nothing further. I mean, this is your opportunity. If you
And
have-
I love how Mary is taking this as far as she is, man. Like, you don't take that shit lightly, dude. Somebody threatens
hear
your
that
kids, even
you
if they
are
say that
also
shit in jest, dude.
The night that you claimed that I called you.
Fuck
made fun of
that.
you.
You don't take that shit lightly,
Not that
not
night,
from
it was
somebody
the
like
night
her.
before. It wasn't that night. It
She's
was that night.
dangerous
That was
as
the other
fuck.
night when you threatened to murder me and my kids. It was December 10th. December 9th was a talk show, and you went on a talk show. Yes. And you called in. I was asked to call in. Yes. You were asked to call in. By whom? By the moderator and the host of the shows. They asked me to call in because you and your friends have been attacking me on Twitter for over 2 months. And I don't have a Twitter, and you knew that, and everyone knew that. Do you realize that there's a recording of this entire show on YouTube? Yes.
So what?
So you're stating under oath. There's a recording of what? The show that you called into.
So
I mean,
this
I
is
haven't
real
seen it,
good
I
on
haven't
Lindsay's
listened to it,
part.
it was recorded.
This is real good on Lindsay's part. So when you get to cross-examine her like you are right now, you get to further abuse her and prove to the judge that you're an abusive asshole. That's a great strategy, Lindsay. Way to go. We love it.
There was all I talked about was how my son saved your children 3 times from frowning because you were too drunk. And too
I'm asking you if you're aware
intoxicated.
that it's published online.
I
Wow.
don't know
You're
if it's
claiming that
published
somebody asked you to
online.
call in.
I don't know if it's published online. or
So
not.
you called into the show, and one of the first things you said was that you have been involved with the Karen Reed case, that you initially believed that she was guilty, that you no longer believe that, and that Turtle Boy loves you. Did you not say
I
that?
did not say that.
So if we were to pull up the show,
I
we
would
play it today, we would not hear you say that Turtle Boy loves me.
Turtle Boy.
Pull
loves
it
me.
up.
I didn't know.
Pull it
It's
up.
true that you flipped sides, so to speak, for lack of a better word, went from being an anti-Karen Reed person to or anti-Turtle Boy person to a pro-Turtle Boy person before you called into that show and made several statements trying to help his case against me publicly on chats on YouTube, various YouTube shows.
I wasn't trying to help him. I have my own freedom of speech. I was lied to by you and Kate. Yeah, I
Ooh.
stopped listening to you guys. That made you guys upset. I didn't follow suit. I had my own opinion. I started looking at the other news channels.
Do you have any proof of any anything other than cordial interactions between you and I before the night you called into that show, talking about my children and making up lies about my children?
I'm not making. I didn't make up
Do
any
you have any
lies.
proof of anything other than cordial interactions between you and I before that night?
I have a recording. Yes, I do.
Other than that night, do you have any proof of anything other than cordial interactions between you and I?
No.
So there's nothing except cordial interactions in text messages, on Messenger.
When people talk on the phone, you don't record them. When you talk, you're a very smart person. So when you don't make this
Oh
threat in writing,
no.
you say it in person to that
Isn't it
person.
true that you testified
Oh,
under oath
that's
at the restraining order hearing
terrible.
that I made a threat to you on a specific day, and later that day I provided evidence where you texted me telling with heart emojis and asking how I was and were being friendly with me. This very same day that you claimed that I threatened you.
We were talking on the phone. That was prior to the end of the phone call is when you made the threat. So when I sent the text messages didn't go through until we hung up.
Isn't it true that you called into the show that night making up lies about my children because your friend had
That's not
private
true.
probate documents released and believed that I was
Making up
them,
lies
and that you
about my
inspired
children.
call into the show and make up lies about my children
No.
and try to support the defendant here?
That's not true.
Isn't it true that this is retaliatory and you're making this entire story up in your affidavit about this conversation where I allegedly told you that this assault never happened?
That's not true.
I have no further questions, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. Let me redirect. No questions, Your Honor. Okay, thank you, ma'am. You may sit down.
Redirect.
Defense counsel, Aiden Carney, Your Honor.
So just a reminder, you're still on the road. Please be seated.
May I inquire? May I inquire? Thank you. Good afternoon, sir. Please state your name, spell your last name for the record.
My name's Eden Carney, Kearney.
What do you do for a living?
I'm a journalist.
And what are you currently working on?
The Karen Reed case has been my passion for the last year and a half.
How many articles have you written and published approximately on the Karen Reed case?
463.
How long have you been covering it?
20 months now. 20 months.
How do you know the plaintiff?
We had a brief sexual relationship.
When was that, just in general?
September of 2023 to December of 2023.
Now, in that relationship, would you characterize it as carefree or difficult?
Difficult.
And why?
She would hurl abusive language at me a lot, especially when she was drinking, demean me, make me feel like I was not a good person in order to just beat me down.
Now, at the time, you were still married, correct?
I was.
And what was the status of your marriage?
Sleeping on the couch. And, as far as, that one, I guess I was living with my wife, still legally married to my ex-wife now, but it was not good.
Were you, is it fair to say that at that point when you took up with Ms. Katani that you were mutually going to end your marriage?
I'd say so, yes.
Now, Ms. Katani, at the winding down of your relationship, told you that she was pregnant, correct?
That's correct.
And tell us about what happened with respect to the circumstances of that in a nutshell.
She told me that when things started getting bad in the relationship and it seemed like it was going to end, she told me that she was pregnant and I couldn't. Obviously, that made it a lot more difficult to end at that moment. And it caused a lot of anxiety and issues with me, obviously, because I have 2 children and this would obviously cause a lot of issues. The entire time, as it turned out, the whole thing was a lie. And it was causing a lot of mental anguish in my life to the point where one night I had a really bad panic attack and I just wanted to disappear. It's hard to explain. And I started walking down the road and in the dark, and I sent her a video of myself walking down the road in extreme emotional distress state.
Let me stop you right there. I want to ask you about that. You heard the plaintiff say to the court that you have mental health issues. Where would you say any mental health distress that you have came from?
Her lie about being pregnant. And
now, at some point, you started to stand up to her and break it off. Isn't that right?
Yeah, once I figured out later on in the relationship where I began to have serious doubts about the pregnancy and she couldn't answer questions for me, I attempted to end the relationship on December 9th.
And you received a call on the phone from her that day, correct?
I did.
What was the tenor of that conversation from her end?
Very threatening. She said that she wanted. I told her that if she was pregnant, I was worried that the baby would have fetal alcohol syndrome because she drank so much. And she told me that she was going to drop that fetal alcohol baby off at my house and party the effing night away. And then she said that she's going to be my biggest regret, that she will fucking destroy me. And she just basically said that if you leave me and don't talk to me, I'm going to ruin you.
That was on a December 9th phone call. Is that right?
That's correct.
Now, sounds like that probably ought to have terminated any contact with this woman.
Yes, we didn't speak for about 10 more days around there.
So what happened with respect to kind of reapproaching each other? How did that happen?
Well, first she attempted to coerce me to come over to her house with the promise of a threesome. That was on December 21st.
Thank you,
and
Britt
it
Happens.
didn't go. And then on December,
Through text messages?
those through text messages, correct.
Yeah, go ahead.
And then on December 22nd, that was the day I was arraigned. And
Is that a Friday?
I don't remember the day of the week.
So it was an arraignment in the Superior Court, is
That's
that right?
correct. That's correct.
So it's a case where you would have been indicted, is that right?
That's correct.
Right. Did that indictment have anything to do with Ms. Katani?
No, it's completely independent of her.
All right, go on.
And as soon as I got home, I got a message from her alerting me that she had just been visited by State Police Detective Brian Tully, who is kind of spearheading my case. And he had given her a summons to testify in what appeared to be a grand jury in my case on December 27th.
Were there a couple of things that Ms. Katani referred to in an effort to have you come to the house?
What do you mean?
So you had this information about a pregnancy at the time. You weren't sure what the
Correct.
status
Yes.
was, is that right?
Yeah, I was still. She was insisting that she was pregnant, and
were you asking her for some sort of corroboration or something?
I was.
Did you ever receive anything?
I received some photographs, including a pregnancy test that had metadata on it showing that the image was taken in May of 2023. I also received a picture that she sent me in late November of what she claimed was her at an abortion clinic in Brookline, she said. I later found out through metadata that picture was taken on December 4th, 2021. So the picture she was sending me of evidence of this alleged pregnancy were all photographs that she had taken from prior pregnancies.
So you have the pregnancy issue and then you have a subpoena, is that right?
Correct.
What happened with respect to a subpoena? How did that figure into this?
Well, like I said, the attempts to get me over her apartment with sex wasn't working. And so she sent me this picture of a grand jury summons on December 22nd and said, I want you to come over tonight and talk about it. And I said, no, I actually called you and alerted you to it. And you advised me not to go. And so I informed her that I would not be going.
That shit's real, bro. Like, listen, dude, you're gonna have to do better than that. You know what I mean? Like, if I'm already seeing red flags and I'm like, the crazy's already come out, and then you're trying to like lure me there with like a threesome, dude. Listen, dude. Like, no. Like, you're gonna have to come at me with something that, you know, is like something I'm new to. Like, that's not that shit, dude. Those things have to be like well coordinated. You know what I mean? Like, and they gotta be with the right girls, you know, like you can't just throw that shit together. Like you're asking for a fucking headache. You're asking for a problem. And and then, you know, when somebody's already throwing red flags at you, you're gonna be like, nah, dude. I don't think so, sweetheart. Like, you're gonna have to do better than that. It's not this ain't my first rodeo. Sorry.
She, you know, threatened me and said that, well, if you don't come over, then I'm gonna do what I have to do. I'm gonna tell the grand jury about the baby.
So you went over there, and did you try to limit your private encounter with her?
So the next day, so I initially told her I wasn't going to come. And then early on the 23rd, she then continued to tell me that she was pregnant and that she wanted to discuss that. And so she'd also told me that she had been speaking with a woman by the name of Kate Peter, who was antagonistic towards me, and that she wanted to come clean, and she said, and show me all the messages in her phone. And so I agreed to do so. I told her I want to meet in the conference room because I don't really trust you right now. And the police have been in your apartment. I don't trust them. So I'd like to meet you in a common area. And so we sat in a common area for 2 hours in her Medfield apartment. And
what were you doing during that 2 hours?
Well, we began to look through her phone in the common area. But she started receiving phone calls from her son, it was a lot of phone calls, and this had never happened before. And he called like 7 or 8 times, insisting that she come back into the apartment.
So the kids were up in her apartment?
That's correct.
How old are the kids?
2, 3, 5, and 11, or 12 at the time, I think.
So what happened with respect to you
listen,
trying to stay in the common area or going to her apartment?
I could break it down for you. Like, listen, life isn't a fucking porn flick, dude. You know, like it's not. It doesn't just happen like that. You know, like life isn't a porn flick. You know, like these things take careful coordination. You got to understand, women are very intimate creatures. Like they are like touch is the love language. You know what I mean? And women like to be the center of your attention. They like to know that you are focused on pleasuring them. You bring in another person in the mix, they have to mentally prepare themselves for not being the number one focus. There's a lot to it, dude. Like there's a fucking lot to it, which is why 90% of the time the woman has to be the one to coordinate it. But both parties, they have to know each role that they have. Like one of the women has to be more dominant than the other woman, and it's a lot. It's a lot. So that shit doesn't just happen like that. It doesn't just happen like that. That's a fucking red flag coming from a red flag. That's what that is. So you can't, you're not going to just, you know, unless you're just a fucking fool, unless you're Grant, you're not going to look at that and be like, okay, cool. You know what I mean? There's too much to it. It's too much of a, yeah, that's not going to happen, dude.
So she said, you know, that I have to go in there now. Just come in here. Everything's going to be fine. And so I said, okay. And we went into her apartment. We continued to look at her phone. I never once touched the phone. She held it the entire time. And I took notes about what was in her phone. I was shocked and horrified about some of the things that I was seeing. And then at about 2:30 or 3 o'clock, we were done and we were intimate. And shortly after that, it was Christmas Eve morning at this point, and I had to go home.
Thank you. I'm a baffled.
24th, like 3, 4 in the morning.
That's right, about 3 in the morning. And I wanted to go home. And the best way I can describe it is she lost her mind. Just not. And she said, "You can't leave me."
Thank you, I'm baffled. Dude.
And she
Yeah.
then took what she claimed was an abortion pill, even though she wasn't pregnant. And said, now you can't leave me here. You can't make me do this abortion by myself. And I said, I have to go home. It's Christmas Eve and you're not pregnant. And she then told me, she then woke up all 4 of her kids, started screaming at them manically, and said, taking their coats out and saying, we're going to drive to Aiden's house so I can have an abortion in the driveway. And if I bleed out and crash my car along the way, then it's going to be his fault. You know, she frequently had done this before, threatening to kill herself and leave notes blaming me.
In response to hearing that display, what did you do?
I agreed reluctantly once the 5-year-old came out, and he just had a look of horror on his face. It's something I'll never forget. And for the sake of the children who I thought were in danger if she actually followed me to my house, I agreed to sit. She wanted me to stay for 3 hours. And so I sat on her couch until around 5 a.m. When she finally fell asleep. And then I walked out of the apartment and I drove home.
Did you assault her?
Absolutely not.
You throw her on the couch?
Absolutely
Did
not.
you grab her wrist?
Absolutely not.
Did you get in a struggle over pieces of paper?
Absolutely not.
Did she lock herself in the bathroom at some point in the evening?
Yeah, she did at one point go into the bathroom.
The next day, you later learned that she went to the police actually came to her, right?
Yeah, according to the police report, she called State Police Detective Brian Tully at around 11 o'clock.
She didn't call her
See,
town
now
police.
this is
No, she actually
why.
called Kate Peter for sure.
Now this is why they want to call Mello to the stand, because Bettero, according to his letters, they can prove that she colluded with Tully and Mello and Kate Peter to set him up.
Several hours. And we don't know what they discussed, but they spoke on the phone for a couple hours.
And you know this from discovery in your case,
That's
correct?
correct.
And the call to Detective Tully is the detective, or the lead detective on the case that you were just indicted for, right?
Yes, he's lead
Arraigned
detective.
the day
That's correct.
before.
And the Canry case.
Nothing to do with Medfield Police, nothing to do with domestic violence, correct?
Nothing.
To your knowledge, and you're having all the discovery in the case, to your knowledge, did Ms. Catani ever call 911 or call her local police department or anything to that effect?
No, Brian Tully did.
And what happened with respect to Mr. Detective Tully calling the local police? Again, based on the discovery, what did you learn happened?
That Detective Tully called the police, and he's the one that told them that an allegation of assault, that she's claiming that she was assaulted. She never told them that initially. And so the Medfield police came to her apartment on Christmas Eve and spoke to her. And then she then told this story about me stealing paper from, or her stealing paper from me, and then me assaulting her because of that.
And that resulted, just to put a quick point on it, that results in charges against you. You come to this court, you get your bail revoked for 90 days. You end up being in jail starting on Christmas, the day before Christmas,
Yeah.
the day after Christmas, sorry. You're in court on your birthday and you get your bail revoked. And you're in
Yeah,
jail for,
straight up, Cynthia.
the
For
order was
real.
90 days, but you
Thank
got it back
you.
to 60 days, correct?
Yeah, I was incarcerated for 60 days.
And with respect to the incarceration, your mom was ill at the time, was she not?
She had pancreatic cancer.
And that was two months out of her life that you were deprived of, and she's since passed away. Isn't that right?
She died in June.
Heartbreaking.
So with respect to engaging in any conduct whatsoever that may have ever created a reasonable fear of imminent serious bodily harm, is there anything you
Dude, that alone makes her such an asshole. Like, this is not a dangerous guy. Why does his mom have to pay for that? You don't think that she wanted to spend her last days with her son? Like, one could argue that she considered this and didn't give a fuck. I'm not saying that she did, but I'm saying just the fact that she was inconsiderate to this fact makes her an asshole. But one could argue and speculate that she was aware of this fact and didn't give a fuck.
can think of that you may have ever done to her that could ever satisfy that standard?
Nothing.
Did you ever create any revenge porn accounts against Mr. Catani?
Absolutely not.
Dude,
Did you
why
record
would he
Mr.
do
Catani in
that?
this alarming evening that you described for the court? Did you
Dude, that is the stupidest fucking thing anybody in his position could do, too. Like, why the fuck would he do that? Somebody as public as he is, with the whole world trying to fucking crucify him, and he's gonna fucking stoop to something as fucking dumb as porn revenge? Nobody's gonna do that. But she still has one. Yeah, he didn't create any accounts, but she still has one that exists to this day. It's still out there. Like, unbelievable, this woman, dude.
resort to recording Ms. Gattani's outbursts, shall we say?
I did,
Why'd you do that?
because I was scared for the children and I wanted to do it for my own protection.
Did you tell her?
Yes, I told her. I alerted her. That's correct.
Thank
And
you,
you have
John
those tapes, correct?
Bags.
I do.
Thank you, Alma Baffled.
Then fast forwarding, Ms. Gattani brings this February 26th, 2024 restraining order violation case, correct?
That's right.
Or she's involved in it, I should say, Judge. She's involved in that case, right?
That's correct.
So that case, taking the allegation there as it is, doesn't allege any violence or
Right.
anything whatsoever.
Clearly.
relative to creating bodily harm. Isn't that
Dude, why
That's
the fuck would, dude, that's nobody, why the fuck would he's a public figure. He doesn't want that shit out there. Like, that's the stupidest fucking thing to actually expect anyone to believe that somebody as public as Turtle Boy is would actually threaten to fucking compromise his own privacy like that. To what? Hurt her? That's the stupidest shit in the world. Makes no sense. He's the only one. I mean, it's not fair to say that she wouldn't lose out either. Obviously, her privacy would be violated too. But it's a little different when you're as public of a figure as he is. You know what I'm saying? Like, why the fuck would he do that? So fucking crazy that she would think that anyone would believe that shit. I have many messages from her saying she wants other people to watch TMI, but it's the opposite of what she's portraying to be. She wanted it out. Yeah. Like that's a fucking nut, an insane person who got some sick, twisted pleasure because Turtle Boy is a public figure. Like, come on. Like, people need to, like, really understand, like, the depravity here. It's not. And then the State House press conference, uninvited, in which she gave a speech saying that she was the reason the revenge porn bill was filed. Get unreal, dude.
Right.
The allegation there is that you were in a certain proximity, correct?
Yeah, and then I yelled liar, liar.
Yeah, dude.
Judge, that's all I have. Thank you very much.
That would be great.
So we still have cross-examination and closings. It's 1 o'clock right now, so we're going to take the luncheon recess. We will resume promptly at 2 p.m. At 2 p.m., and we may inquire of this case. Thank you. Thank you, Judge.
2 o'clock.
Court, all rise. Want to stand to recess?
May I, Mr. Carney, you have been under this order for how long now, sir?
It's been 1 year.
Under the year of the order, how has that affected your actions, your behavior, your mental state?
I live in constant fear of going back to jail due to the existence of this order and her history of attempting to weaponize the order to trigger a violation. I'm constantly in fear that she's going to show up at my kids' basketball games, at my kids' soccer games, because she's shown up at so many places before. On June 28th, she showed up at I was outside the courthouse supporting Karen Reed, and she barged through the group that I was with. And I literally had to run for safety and find a police officer and say, there's a person here who has an order against me, and I want to document this and film this and let you know I'm walking away and trying to stay away from her. I'm just constantly in fear because of the existence of this order. And I had to see a therapist. The 60 days away was extremely traumatizing. I have 2 young children who didn't know where I was for 60 days. And on March 14th, we had another bail revocation hearing 20 days after I got out of jail. And I found out that they wanted to send me back for 120 days because she showed up to where I was at the courthouse on February.
Okay. We all know that how this ended. You guys got to see this shit. I've never seen this. Wow.
I'm here today to break my silence for the first time through public remarks. I'm starting to read through their statement. To begin, thank you, Madam Senate President, Mr. Speaker, members of the Senate, and members of the House. Your bold action to ban revenge porn and coercive control has given me the confidence to stand here today, and for that I am eternally grateful. So many of us over recent years have heard the phrase, revenge porn is legal in Massachusetts. It's been thrown around as if this is somehow an excuse for weaponizing the most intimate moments of a person's life as a form of emotional control and abuse.
But today, lawmakers in both houses.
Now look, boom. Who's that right there?
Esteemed body have spoken with a unified voice and made clear that revenge porn is no longer legal in Massachusetts. And survivors like myself are the ones who can now hold our heads high.
Who's that right there? Listen to this asshole. Like in a fucking press conference. I thought he was joking. This is a fucking press conference where she's acting like a fucking crusader against revenge porn. No one had any idea who she was. She had nothing to do with this bill. Her and Grant knew it was being passed that day and jumped in front of the mics. Yeah, that's some bullhorn Betty shit right there. Wow. Unfucking real, dude. Like, that's insane. She was never the victim of revenge porn. And here she's like holding a press conference as if she's the fucking the poster child for the fight against revenge porn. Like, look at this shit.
Today, to break my silence for the first time through public remarks, I'm starting to read through their statement. To begin, thank you, Madam Senate President, Mr. Speaker, members of the Senate, and members.
She prepared a fucking speech. She prepared a speech, yet was not even invited to this. She's, oh my God, look at this. Look at what Turtle Boy's saying here. At the end, she's not taking, she says she's not taking any questions. Media just wanted her to know who the fuck she was and what the fuck she had anything to do with any of it. What in the fuck am I watching right now? This is insane.
Your bold action to ban revenge porn and coercive control has given me the confidence to stand here today, and for that I am eternally grateful. So many of us over recent years have heard the phrase, revenge porn is legal in Massachusetts. It's been thrown around as if this is somehow an excuse for weaponizing the most intimate moments of a person's life as a form of emotional control and abuse. But today, lawmakers in both houses of this
Look,
esteemed
and look
body
who's
have
there.
spoken with
That's fucking, that's crusty panties right there.
revenge porn is no longer legal in Massachusetts. And survivors like myself
She just wanted to be in camera shot.
are the ones who can now hold our heads high.
Look at this. Yes, she's posing for pictures with whoever the fuck these people are.
In defiance of anyone who might seek to use revenge porn as a weapon. I want to stress, though, every day that passes before this bill is formally becomes law is for further agony for survivors. I encourage the Compromise Committee to get this legislation across the finish line as soon as possible.
Oh, okay, that's
I
not
heard it
Kate.
said once
Gotcha.
that whenever
Okay, never mind. All right, my bad. That's not Kate. You're right. Hold on.
as possible. I heard it said once that whenever we stand against the
Is that
will
her right
of
over
opinion
here?
on hotly contested issues, a woman does what she must, in spite of the personal consequences and dangers and pressures, for that is the basis of all human morality. If those words from a great human being who himself changed history still stand for anything, it is a profound principle that will be embodied when this legislation is quickly signed into law. Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to use my voice. And I just.
Oh, here come the
I don't wanna
tears.
take any questions at this time, but I just want to thank everyone for allowing me to speak. Can you just say your name again and spell it? Lindsay Gattani, Lindsey. Gattani is Gaatani. Thank you.
Dude, bro, I feel that shit, Meredith. That's fucking crazy. But I'm just laughing at her, like giving her name, like, okay, who the fuck are you? What the fuck are you doing here? Jesus Christ. Dude, that is That is next level fucking crazy, dude. That is next level crazy. Oh, God. Jesus Christ. Right. Right. The whole idea was to like smear, and that's Kate Peters fucking. She doesn't have the brains to do that. That's got Kate Peter written all over it. Yeah, that's what it, yeah, it was. It was like that was a Grant video. That was a Grant video. It was totally a Grant video. Jesus Christ, dude. All right. I am gonna go ahead and wrap this up, man. Thanks for hanging out with me, guys. Yeah, it's important, man, that we like you gotta understand, like this stuff, as entertaining as a lot of this shit is, because it's fun to see Turtle Boy be like, all right, motherfuckers, okay, here we go. You know what I mean? Like it's definitely gratifying to see him fight back. But make no mistake, this isn't just him making a joke out of some asshole. This is somebody who is fucking clearly dangerous. Lindsay Gattani is a dangerous person. Oh, okay. All right. Listen, I'm going to stick around for just a little bit. I am going to stick around for just a little bit. I will. I didn't even. Yeah. All right. Let's do that. Let's do that. We'll stick around just a little while longer. Hold on. Let me pull it back up here. All right.
Incident we discussed here about you having to leave court.
That's right. And I left and I went to where a police officer told me. And I just remember thinking, like, where can I go that's safe? I just signed up to be my kid's basketball coach. And I had to actually think, like, what if I go to jail? Who's going to coach the team? Like, should I even do this? Because I'm constantly living in fear because of the existence of this order.
Do you have any interest at all in engaging her, provoking her, being anywhere near her, assaulting her, harming her, talking to her?
No, I want to be as far away from her as possible.
All right, thank you, counsel. So, ma'am, this is your opportunity to inquire whenever you're ready.
Mr. Carney, you're charged with violating this order, and there's a pending criminal case in this very court for that, correct?
That's correct.
And I am the named victim in that pending criminal case. Isn't that correct?
That's correct.
And separate to that, you also have an open felony case in the Norfolk Superior Court related to the charges of wiretapping and witness intimidation against me, correct?
That's correct.
I'm also the named victim in those pending felony matters as well, correct?
That's correct.
You're also facing numerous other felonies in regards to witness intimidation and other charges, correct?
That's correct.
With other separate witnesses, correct?
That's correct.
Mr. Carney, do you remember? Or let's see, straight that. Episode 645 of your YouTube show on March 12th. You said the following, didn't you? And I'm quoting you. And hopefully that continues on Thursday, because I don't want to go back to jail. That would suck, especially over some bullshit lies. This shit needs to end, man. This shit needs to end. But I got a great attorney and a great defense team, and we're gonna fight hard and we're gonna win. We're gonna take them down, man. I'm not going to jail. Fuck that. I already did my time. If they send me back to jail, I know it would be somebody's like, yeah, people would riot. People would be fucking outraged because everybody, when I was sent to jail for the first time, you guys didn't know about Lindsay Gattani. You didn't know her. Now you know. You said that, didn't you?
I'd have to hear it.
Another episode, didn't you also say?
I mean, I'm not hearing
"Who's the scary
anything
one? Me or
incriminating
them?
there,
Me.
though.
I'm the one that knocks, motherfucker. They should be a million times more scared of me than I will ever be of them because I'm a relentless, vengeful cunt hell-bent on putting them all in prison. If that doesn't scare the shit out of you, what does? And I got a large platform to do it, and I'm fucking smart and savvy, and I know what the fuck I'm doing. You said that too, didn't you?
I don't recall saying that.
Did you see that? She like dropped her R by accident and then like corrected herself, like as if like for some reason being from Boston makes her look bad in court. What?
Platform to do it, and I'm fucking smart and savvy, and I know what that doesn't scare the shit out of you. What does? And I got a large platform to do it, and I'm fucking them all in prison. If that doesn't scare the shit out of you, what does? And I got a large platform to do it, and I'm fucking them all in prison. If that doesn't scare the shit out of you, what does? And I got a large platform to do it, and I'm fucking smart and savvy, and I know what the fuck I'm doing. You said that too, didn't you?
I don't recall saying that.
Mr. Carney, you mentioned that you sent me a video, which you described as showing you having a panic attack. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And in that video, isn't it true that you were walking down a dark highway, threatening to walk into oncoming traffic because I tried to break up with you? Isn't that correct?
That's incorrect.
Isn't it true that you hung up
Hold on a
after?
minute. Stop. Take that computer and leave the courtroom. This is the second time I've warned you. I'm gonna make this as clear as I can possibly make this. Okay? Don't shake your head. Be quiet and listen.
It's fucking Grant.
Okay, what you think this is?
I tried to break up with you. Isn't that correct?
That's incorrect.
Isn't it true that you hung up
Hold on a minute.
after?
Stop.
Stop.
Take that computer and leave the courtroom. This is the second time I've warned you. I'm gonna make this as clear as I can possibly make this. Okay? Don't shake your head. Be quiet and listen. Okay, what's your name?
Grant Smith Ellis, Your Honor.
All right. Sir, we did not ask permission to record this. We did not ask permission to videotape these proceedings. You have a
You
laptop
dummy.
open. I can see the light illuminating.
I can
throughout
see
the
a fucking
proceedings.
light,
Don't shake your
bro.
head. Keep listening, okay? I'm warning you now, okay? If I see you recording, if I see you videotaping in defiance of my previous notification to you not to do so, you'll be fined up to $2,000 and sentenced to up to 90 days in the House of Correction for each contemptuous act that follows.
The
You
House
understand
of
that?
Corrections, bro.
Take the computer and remove it from the court.
Big house,
You are welcome
homie.
back in, but the computer is not.
He's lucky he
Thank
was
you.
that nice about it. Can you imagine Grant, bro, in the big house, dude? The House of Corrections. Excuse me, sir. No, you cannot have my fruit cup, sir. Time. Thank you so much. In all fairness, I was told to lose my thick accent in college because it sound uneducated. So she's no fool. She knows exactly what she's doing. That's my point. Yeah. That was the point of pointing that out. But yeah, totally. Excuse me, sir. I was assaulted.
I just want to tell you, that gentleman has nothing to do with the defendant or the defense.
I don't consider him having anything to
Brado's like, hey, for the record, we don't know that guy, dude. Like, you don't have nothing to fucking do with that dude. Nothing at all. And the judge is like, yeah, nobody fucking has anything to, he doesn't have nothing to do with nobody.
Gentleman has nothing to do with the defendant or the defense.
I don't consider him having anything to do with either party.
I don't consider him, I don't even fucking consider the guy. Like, don't worry about it. You're good.
I just know he was an individual in the gallery that was recording or attempting to record in an unauthorized fashion, and he's been warned. Ma'am, you may proceed.
Thank you.
Unreal,
Isn't
bro.
it true that you, after you threatened to walk into oncoming traffic, that you shut your phone off?
Like,
You hung up and
Grant,
shut your
for
phone
real,
off?
bro. Listen, Grant, I'm talking to you directly, homie. Like, how do you not see how fucking dumb you look, bro? Like, at this point, like, this is your worst look, is being totally all about this girl. Like, that is your worst look, bro. Like, all of the things that come with being totally obsessed with this girl, like, is like all make up your bad look, bro. Like, besides the fucking lies that you tell about people, like, besides that shit, like, that's a whole nother monster right there. You being obsessed with this girl is one of the worst looks, bro, that you could ever have, dude. Look at that. Like, you got scolded by the judge. You got kicked out. Like, He was even like, listen, man, you can come back in. You can even come back in. Just like, don't fucking play this court for a fool, dude. Like, filming this shit, you don't have permission to film. You're basically throwing your middle finger up in my face because you want to put your tongue in this girl's ass. Stop it.
And called me back an hour later, acting like nothing had ever happened.
That's incorrect.
Isn't it true that this wasn't the first time that you threatened to kill yourself when I tried to break up with you or wouldn't answer your calls?
You've never tried to break up with me.
Didn't you also?
And what does that have to do with anything? You know what I mean? Like, what are you talking about? Because it sounds like ego. Sounds like her making it a point to point out whether or not Aiden threatened to kill himself. Well, just means that like she's, you know, but like, where's the threat to her? You know what I mean? Like, where's the threat to her? Like, I get she's trying to imply that he would harm himself because of her breaking up. Okay, well, but you're gonna have to do better than that, though. You know, you're gonna have to, like, if he's not a threat to you, is it manipulative? Okay, say you prove that it's manipulative. Okay, great, but that doesn't make him a danger to you. But you being on recordings saying that you're gonna kill people and children, you're yeah, dude. Like, you're the crazy one here. You're the crazy one. You're the nut. Stop it.
So, didn't you also do this before knowing about my pregnancy? Because you would use that as your excuse for your alleged panic attack.
You were never pregnant.
Isn't it true that you used similar threats with another ex-girlfriend and threatened to kill yourself?
You were never pregnant, bro. Stop.
Incorrect.
Didn't you admit on your YouTube shows about needing to take a break in the past because of your suicidal ideations when you were caught cheating on your wife?
I've had to take a break for mental health issues before.
You claim that I lured you to my house on December 21st for a threesome. Isn't it true that you willingly came to my house on December 20th and had sex with me?
I did.
And if I wanted to set you up, I could have done so then, couldn't I have?
You could have.
I didn't need to lure you to my house because you came over my house willingly to have sex, correct?
Not on the 22nd.
Mr. Carney, you took me to a bar in Norwood in October 2023, isn't that correct?
Yes.
Were you aware that night that I only had 2 drinks?
No, you had more than 2 drinks.
After the trip to the bar, you drove me home, isn't that correct?
Were you aware that I only had 2 drinks? You had more than 2 drinks. No, I had only 2 drinks. They served me 2 drinks, 2 5-gallon buckets full of booze. That's what they served me.
I did.
During that drive home, I refused to engage in sexual activity with you, isn't that correct?
That's incorrect. It's not. I didn't ask for it.
Did you not claim on many of your YouTube shows that I, quote, refused to give you roadhead?
On which night are you talking about?
The night in question in October 2023 when we went to the bar in Norwood.
Which day? We went
Roadhead.
3 times.
The night in question when we were driving home, you just answered that you drove me home after the bar. Isn't it true that you stated to your audience that I pretended I had to throw up to get you to pull over to the side of the road?
You were berating me and telling me that.
Isn't it true that you stated that I pretended I had to throw up?
I mean, let him answer the question.
You may finish your answer.
Yeah,
You
let
were
him answer the
berating
question.
me, dehumanizing me, telling me I was worthless and what a horrible person I was. And then you said that you had to throw up. And I pulled over, and that is the reason that there was no sexual relations in the car on the ride home.
Dude, that
Isn't it
shit,
true that after you
that shit fucking, man, brings shit back. Like, it does. Like, I remember I was with a girl and she was driving and she was just the whole time just like the most verbally abusive shit in the world. Like, I was just sitting there. She's fucking like, and I'm sitting there like, fuck, in the car. Like, this woman is awful. Like, this woman is fucking terrible. and then we're like, and I swear to God, we're like fucking 10 feet from the entrance to my complex, and fucking lights come on behind us. And I was like, ha, 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 look at you now. Because I knew she'd been drinking. I was like, look at you now. And then the cops like, yeah, the cops fucking like put her in handcuffs. And I at that point I was like, fuck, you know, like instinctively I was just like, hey, we're like right by my house. Can you just like let her go? You know, like she's right there. Can you just let her go? They were like, nah, dude. It's like she's wasted and she's an asshole. She's going to jail.
Pulled over and I got out of the car to pretend to throw up. That you stated that I ran down the middle of the street in the dark to try to escape from you.
You were not, you began walking down Route 109 in Westwood in the dark.
Isn't it true that you also stated that a couple in a car pulled over to try to offer me assistance?
That did not happen. I do not recall that happening.
The fuck is the point of any of this?
Persuaded me to get back into your vehicle.
I did not want you to get hit by a car. I was worried about you. So I asked you to get back into the car.
Right. So
isn't it true that we then went back to my
let me question you and point out how crazy I am. Like, what's he gonna say here? He's of course gonna go, dude, you were acting like a drunken, crazy asshole. And I had to sit there and you put on this show on the side of the fucking road, and I had to fucking babysit you to get you back in the fucking car so you wouldn't get hit by a fucking car. Crazy person. What do you mean? Sitting here and putting me in a position to where I get to tell the judge this story, you dummy.
apartment.
That's correct.
Isn't it true that at that point I was blackout drunk and you raped me?
No, that's incorrect.
Wow.
Isn't it true that you recorded the rape?
It's incorrect. I did not
Isn't it
rape
true
you.
that you showed the recording of the rape to multiple people?
You showed it to the police and they said it wasn't rape.
That's not
You showed it to the cops and they said it wasn't rape, bro. Like, what are you talking about, lady? See, again, this is an example of somebody who thinks that if they fucking say some shit out loud, that it makes it true. Like, lady, it's as though you're just dismissing this very important detail that you're the one who recorded the shit without my knowledge, and it was consensual in the first place. Not the recording, but the sex was consensual. And so you went and showed it to the cops trying to get me fucking arrested for rape. And then the cops were like, no. Cops who are probably trying to lock this man up anyway. And even they're still like, nah, dude, this is consensual.
what the police stated in the report.
It
Isn't
is.
it true?
Objection to counsel testifying to the plaintiff testifying your own motion, sir.
Isn't it true that you got a copy of the rape?
Hold on. As to that last objection, sustained, motion to strike allowed. Next question.
Isn't it true that you got a copy of the police report regarding the rape during the discovery process for your current criminal trial, and you gave it to another person on an anonymous Twitter account to post publicly, completely unredacted, with all of the sexually explicit information and details about the rape and my identifying information?
Objection. Sustained.
Mr. Carney, on February 23rd, you were indicted on the wiretapping and witness intimidation charges.
There's no wiretapping charge.
Isn't that correct?
That's correct.
On February 28th, are you aware that I was called to the Medfield Police to answer to false claims of you reporting me for wiretapping.
They were not false claims. You did wiretap me by putting a Ring camera video in your bedroom and filming us having sex without my consent.
Isn't it true that I was not charged with wiretapping?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Isn't it true that on February 26th, you violated the restraining order,
Not
and
yet.
a mere week later, on March 6th, you then went to the Dedham Police to file another retaliatory claim against me for filing a false police report?
I never violated the order, and I did go to the Dedham Police to file a factual false police report against you because you lied in the report by saying that I yelled liar, liar at you when video evidence shows that no such incident occurred.
It didn't
Attorney,
happen.
on March 14th, 2024, you had an arraignment for an RO violation and hearing for dangerousness, failed revocation, and Dedham District Court in front of Judge Pomeroy.
No, but didn't they
On
drop
couple
it?
Weeks later, April 11th,
I'm aware. I'm aware of it, but didn't they drop it? I feel like they dropped it. I feel like if they didn't, then I'm crazy. I mean, you would know. I wouldn't. Oh, yeah, she's trying to say that you drugged her after 2 drinks. Yeah, like Cherry gets drugged and then she gets mad that you didn't drug her enough. Right. Why the fuck would you drug her? For what? Like, for what? Like, it's so stupid. So fucking crazy.
you posted and announced on Twitter that you were filing a motion to try to have my restraining order vacated. Isn't that true?
I did file a motion to have the restraining order vacated.
Based on these instances, wouldn't you say it's fair?
Okay, not the one.
that
Got it. Thank you.
retaliation has been on your behalf, not mine?
I don't understand the question.
Yeah, and I mean that's the key right there. Like,
You stated that the Dedham Police
especially if the assault charge is dropped, then she has no basis for this restraining order.
informed you while you were recording that you could stand, this is on February 26th, that you could stand on the steps of the Registry of Deeds and that would be fine. Isn't that correct?
He said, go over there. And he
But Mr.
pointed,
Carney, when Officer Crump testified on March 14, 2024 at the Dedham District Court, he told the court that at no time that at the time he did not know who you were talking about and where you were talking, where the person was at the time. Isn't that correct?
he told me to go stand over there. So I went to where he told me to stand.
Isn't it correct that he said you should go stand over there for now and then we would figure it out?
He said something of that
Mr.
nature.
Carney, you
correct.
never followed
I
up with that officer
mean,
again at any point
okay.
after that, did you?
Within 5 minutes, the hearing was over.
Mr. Carney, isn't it true that after you followed me to my car, the following day you wrote a blog
Wow.
about me, a very lengthy blog in which you posted numerous
You
pictures
didn't follow
of
me to
me,
your car though.
videos of me, slandered my name, and made light of the situation.
I never followed you to your car.
There you go. Like, what do you mean? Stop.
And I don't make light of any of this.
I have nothing else, Your Honor.
Yeah, clearly you have nothing else. You don't have anything to begin with except
I've
craziness.
never been questioned by police about it.
And you received a police report and discovery about it, correct?
I did.
And the police report goes through all of the texting and the police review of the videotape from the sexual encounter that you had that night with Mr. Tani, does it not?
The consensual sexual encounter, correct?
And the police reviewed it, wrote a report on it, talked all about the text exchanges between the two of you, correct?
Correct.
And the police report recreates all of them, doesn't it?
Yes.
So the cops even wrote a
And in
report.
those texting, she indicates in a nutshell that she doesn't remember the night before, correct?
I believe something of that nature,
As
yes.
opposed to that she didn't consent to the night before. Her statements to the police are that she didn't remember the night before, right?
Yeah, she specifically said, you know, I don't care.
She said, I mean, you know, I don't care. I just wish I could remember it because it takes away all the fun, not being able to remember a single thing you did. And I only remember getting out of the car.
Wow.
So she was not upset in any respect about the sexual encounter the night before, was she?
No, she was very excited about it and very happy about the video when I sent it to her.
Judge, I'd offer the police report on that in 2 hours.
Yes. Any objection? Madam Plaintiff?
No, Your Honor.
This item will come in as exhibit number 5.
Yes, sir.
Any further redirect?
Just one moment, please, Your Honor.
Sure.
Now, in the district court, Mr. Carney, you were charged with assault and battery on a family or household or dating relationship person.
I was.
And that case was taken to Superior Court, was it not, through indictment?
It was taken to a grand jury.
And after that, it went to Superior Court, correct?
I don't think it never made it that far
Well, not
because
the charge, the case in general, I'm talking, I'm sorry, I'll ask you a better question. The case in general was taken out of here to the Superior Court, correct?
yeah, 2 of the 3 charges ended up making it to Superior Court.
And with respect to the assault and battery charge, was there, again, from your knowledge of the discovery in the case, was there a request from the prosecutor, Mr. Novak, to obtain an indictment from the grand jury on the same charge from here, the assault and battery charge?
Yes, Mr. Novak asked the grand jury to indict me on assault and battery.
And in terms of the charges that emanated and were brought in Superior Court, did that assault and battery charge get out of the grand jury?
No, it did not.
All right, and you've seen the. judge-
Never
just
went
to look
past
at
the
it,
grand
Your
jury.
Honor, I have 1 page from the grand jury, which, ought to be impounded, I suppose, that corroborates my.
Never went past the
testimony
grand
that
jury, yet
Mr.
she got a
Novak asked
protective
for
order
the
granted.
indictment, and it was not granted by the grand jury. And I also have the docket from that case in Superior Court, which lists the charges with there's no assault and battery charge. So the grand jury did not find probable cause as to this very charge, which was the only charge anywhere in this entire record.
Which
of
is the
case
basis for the RO.
that could ever be seen to support a 209A restraining order. So I would offer the docket and the 1-page grand jury proposing it under impoundment to show, support, and corroborate the defendant's testimony that this charge was never even sustained as to probable cause in the grand jury.
There you go.
I see the
Yes.
documents.
For the record, Judge, I'm giving you the Superior Court docket on this case that emanated out of this court with no assault and battery charge, and just the 1 page of the grand jury where he asked for the indictment.
All right, so I think the docket is relevant and will come in. The grand jury minutes are not coming in.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
So the docket, any objection to the docket? No, Madam Plaintiff?
Sorry, no, Your Honor.
Okay, that'll come in as exhibit number 6.
Roadhead is dangerous.
Motion to admit the grand jury minutes.
Thank you. That's all I have. Thank you. Defense counsel.
Any recross?
No, Your Honor.
All right, thank you, Mr. Attorney. You may step down. Attorney Bradel, any other witnesses?
No, Your Honor.
You rest at this
Thank you
time.
so much. Yep.
2 mega
At this
pints.
time, both parties have
of
rested.
vodka.
We'll stop with counsel for the defendant. Attorney Bradel, I'll give you an opportunity to make a closing argument. And Madam Plaintiff, you get the last word, and I'll hear your closing argument as well. Thank you.
Judge, I appreciate the attention and the time you've given to this case. I'm not going to belabor the closing since it was the subject of your attention and scrutiny, as I saw. And I just want to say that there's no evidence here, Your Honor, that this plaintiff is
Right.
reasonably in fear of imminent serious bodily harm. And more to the point, she's equivocating about being in fear of imminent serious bodily harm, where we see from her October 15th tweet, this is no shrinking flower. She is not afraid of Mr. Carney in any respect. She's always been the aggressor in this relationship.
There you
She's the one
go.
that threatens people when things get tough on her.
Clearly.
She lashes back out. She doesn't shrink away, Your Honor. She threatens people. She told Mr. Carney that it was going to be the biggest regret of his life breaking up with her. I think the biggest regret of his life is probably going with her to begin with. And,
Facts.
he's been suffering for this ever since. We have a very credible witness who came in here and told the court.
Very
that,
credible.
Number one, the plaintiff recanted this bogus allegation, as minimal as it is, and as non-serious bodily harm as it is, that she recanted it, and she admitted to her that it didn't happen, and that once she kind of got that rock rolling down the mountain, that she wasn't going to change it, that she couldn't change it. And that is consistent with her character or her lack of character. her abusive, threatening way that she treats anyone
Yeah.
that crosses her.
Yeah.
She continued that with Miss Bagwell when she tried to express her opinion about some of the dangerous behavior, self-harming behavior that the plaintiff got into. You know, she got threatened up and down all over the place, and that's what this plaintiff has shown herself here to be.
Like,
is
if you
someone who
even
refuses
speak
the
up,
aggressor, who threatens. And when the machine of the government's 209A framework is handed to her, she uses it as a weapon. The only abuse in this case is her abuse of our 209A system, which is incredibly important for legitimate victims of domestic violence. And
There
she's
you
done
go.
nothing but secure the benefits of that through lies. She's uses it as a sword rather than a shield. She goes to where Mr. Carney is. It's no different than if Mr. Carney worked. down
thank you,
the street
Mike
at the
B.
Shell station
That's
in the
helpful.
garage,
Thank you.
if she went down there to provoke him and antagonize him. She knows that Mr. Carney is working the Karen Reed case. She developed this phony interest in the case only to antagonize and
Phony.
torment Mr. Carney. That's what the evidence here showed, Your Honor.
Phony interest.
It's high time that the court system, that Your Honor, the fact finder in this case, saw the case for what it is, which is nothing but a torture device for Mr. Carney.
There
He
you
has
go.
Never put his hands on her. He never did any of the underlying actions here. And that said, Judge, I think that's overwhelmingly what the evidence shows. But even if
Clearly what the
it was one
evidence
of those
shows.
scenarios where us lawyers kind of take the truth of the matter asserted and just look at it that way, which I hate to do, but let's do it. Getting pushed on a couch over a year ago does not warrant this order today and now. That's the sort of the secondary argument, Judge, that we don't need to go into what happened, what didn't happen. I think the evidence is overwhelming that it didn't happen.
It's just funny. Like, Bradel is pretty much pulling like a Dave Chappelle. He's like, he didn't do it. But even if he did, you know what I mean? Even if he did do it, you know what I mean? Like, you pushed her on the couch, dude. Like, stop it. It was a year ago. It was over a year ago. And pushed her on the couch, but he didn't even do it. You know what I'm saying? But let's just say he did. Like, he pushed her on a couch a year ago. So what? You know what I mean? Like, one could even argue he pushed her out of the couch to get her the fuck out of the way so he could leave. Because there's a recording of him all goddamn night fucking trying to leave. So, I mean,
But even if it did happen, it's not something that ought to support another year of a restraining order
right.
where she's going to use it and use it consistently with the history she's already shown, how she uses it as a cudgel to torture Mr. Carney, to make him have to leave the courtroom, make him have to run away from her all the time. She's not afraid of, you're not afraid of someone, Judge, when you go to where they are. You're not afraid of someone who will
Right.
generate 3 inches of
Fuck out of here.
antagonistic tweets and Facebook posts or whatever it is.
3 inches.
Criticizing him, antagonizing him,
A
making
stack
false
3
charges
inches,
against him.
dude.
She's trying to engage with him. She's trying
Yeah.
to provoke a violation.
Exactly.
So, Judge,
She's trying to engage with him by addressing him repeatedly, relentlessly, obsessively via tweets. She's trying to initiate, she's trying to elicit a response from him that may be construed as a violation of her protection order against him. That is a weaponization. That is her using it as a sword instead of a shield. This is an asshole, this woman.
Here, I asked the court to conclude that this plaintiff has zero credibility in terms of being a supposed victim.
Zero
She makes a
credibility.
mockery of being a victim. She
Mockery
reaches out
of
and
being
tries
a
to destroy
victim.
people. And I hope that this court, I have every confidence that this court sees the facts of this case for what it is. And I ask that you vacate this order. There's no need for this order. There's no danger. The only danger here has been to Mr. Carney's mental health based on all of
That's
her
right.
actions. So I would ask that you vacate the order.
Facts.
Thank you, Attorney Gray. Madam Plaintiff, this is your opportunity to make your closing whenever you're ready.
Hell yeah. Let's hear what this fucking asshole has to say.
I want to reiterate
that I am in constant imminent fear.
No, you're not.
Attorney Grado
Stop it.
no way of getting inside my head and knowing what I experience every day. I'm a single mother of 4 children, very young children, and they live in fear. I am scared every day of my life when
They live in fear of you on a constant basis. Dude, you fucking pulled a knife on people, dude. That's not going to make your kids go, "Hey, my mom's A-okay." No, man, you're pulling knives on people, dude.
wake up and I have to leave my house or send them to school. I'm terrified that he'll show up to their school.
No, you're
or
not.
recruit one of his crazy fans to do something on his behalf.
No, you're
I'm
not.
constantly looking over my shoulder, worried about being followed. I have been followed numerous times.
No, you haven't.
I'm worried without this order, there's gonna come a day where he's gonna get desperate enough to do something that there's no coming back from. My children, their lives have been severely
Like what?
impacted.
Ignore you in
I
public?
have developed almost an agoraphobia where I'm afraid to go out with them and bring them to the park. The only trauma they
Fuck
really
outta
woken
here,
up
dude.
that night, that all of that was just a bogus lie concocted by Mr. Carney, and the only trauma they have is the trauma that they've seen as a result of what he's put me through, seeing their mother crying constantly because of the
And who knows fucking what you say to them? Who knows if you yell at them? Who knows? Like when I hear you say things like the my kids and how they're affected by Aiden Carney, what I think is your kids and how they're affected by your obsession with Aiden Carney. That's all anybody else here hears.
torment and harassment that he puts us through on a daily basis, posting my children's private probate documents and pictures of them online, and the threats, the phone calls, and I mean, I have panic attacks constantly. I'm in therapy. There's no doubt in my mind that if this restraining order is not renewed,
Yeah, you should make another appointment.
he's going to ramp up his harassment, continue the stalking, and actually physically harm me to prevent me from testifying. He tried to prevent me from testifying and got the witness intimidation charges by bringing up private and probate documents from my past and threatening to publish those online and using his platform to do so. He has shown that his mental health is not stable. I don't know what he's capable of. I don't want to have to come back every year and face him, or I mean, I went to 2 hearings. I had involvement in or interest in the case long before I ever met him. That's how I met him, because he was covering the case and I bought a Karen Reed t-shirt. That is how I met him. This wasn't me seeking him out. Mr. Carney has a history of doing this to multiple people. He has bragged about,
Bro, the judge is just like, dude, Jesus, lady.
I think he said over 20 people trying to get orders on him and never once succeeding. And
the argument outside the evidence.
It's outside the scope of your objection sustained. You may continue your argument, but not on that topic.
the order is not supposed to prevent me or stop me from living my life. And that's what he's been trying to make it do. I shouldn't have to stop the things that I'm interested in or not go to places. I mean, I lived in Dedham my whole life.
I shouldn't have to stop tweeting crazy shit. But nobody's saying you'd have to stop tweeting it. Just saying that you can't get a restraining order because you do it.
This is where I grew up. He lives in Western Mass. He comes out here, out this way. There's no reason for him to be out here.
There is a reason.
Investigation
There is a reason. Because he can go where the fuck he wants.
Also, it's still open. I was informed by the Medfield detective just 2 weeks ago. And he says he wants nothing to do with me. He posted about me just 2 or 3 days ago, I think it was. Still posts about me to this day. He's
So
the one
what?
constantly provoking and harassing. This is about power and control with him, and I've seen him.
Power and control to do what? Whatever the fuck he wants? Without you in it? Without you in his life? Like, what do you mean?
Do this to other people, and I just want to be left alone. I want to be able to resume some normalcy for my children and I, and that'll never happen if this order is not renewed. If this order goes away, there is not a doubt in my mind that this man who is hell-bent, has admittedly stated that he's hell-bent on revenge, is going to try to concoct something, just like he uses his fans as a tool to be able to do so. And
Uses the
I would just ask
fan
that,
to the tool.
And oh, and one more thing, I just want to mention the restraining order violation. He did the right thing at first, leaving the courtroom. If he had just left the area and left completely, he wouldn't have been charged. There's no way to set somebody up. If you see them and you leave the area, that's what you do. He made a conscious choice to stay in the area, hide. There's pictures of him in video, hiding in the bushes, following me as I walked to my car,
There's no video of him hiding in bushes and following. What are you talking about?
filming me. I mean, he wrote a blog about me the next day using those pictures that he took. All he had to do was leave the area. I mean, there was nothing, the hearing was over at that point, and he made a conscious choice to stay. I just respectfully ask you, Your Honor, to extend this order and as the only means of trying to keep me and my children safe. That's all that I ask.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
My
So
children.
I'm about to render my decision, but before I do, I just want to caution all in the gallery. I heard a couple.
Yeah, just so everyone knows, I'm about to render my decision, which I've already fucking made. I made a long time ago, but here, don't make any noise.
Noises and some disruption during these proceedings. And I'm going to warn you now, decorum will be maintained. I don't want to hear any outbursts. I don't want to hear negative or positive outbursts. Okay, decorum will be maintained out of respect for both the plaintiff and the defendant. So I've had an opportunity to consider the evidence that has been presented before me, and I have to consider whether or not I'm going to extend this order. I find that the plaintiff has not met her burden and that there is not a likelihood of further abuse, and the order will not be extended and will expire at 4 p.m. today.
There it is. Bye. Crazy ass. And now she's being sued. Because no, you don't get to just, that's not the end of it. I gotta make sure that you don't fuck with me ever again. That's Aiden's position at this point, and I don't fucking blame him. I'm happy about it. It sucks that he has gotten to this point, but I'm happy that he's taken these steps. And I look forward to seeing who else he's going to hold accountable for fucking spreading lies about him. This dude's got people coming at him from every fucking direction. It's really terrible. For doing what? For exposing corruption? Oh no. Let's destroy the guy. Like, unreal, man. People are fucking crazy, dude. Anyways, guys, I am this time for real gonna wrap this up. And I appreciate Aiden being in the chat and Meredith and sharing their thoughts as we were discussing this stuff. And yeah, I'm gonna keep talking about this, man. I'm gonna keep talking about this because this stuff is important. This stuff all ties into Karen Read and the very people who were tasked with the responsibility of getting John O'Keefe justice. And now look at what has happened. It's like they've done everything to actively avoid, and they've used the law to avoid justice, achieving justice for Boston police officer John O'Keefe. And ironically, Turtle Boy was out to prove this corruption. And then what did they do? They charged him to shut him up. And now they've provided him with the means to actually prove that there's corruption in Norfolk County. And it's a thing of beauty. And I'm fucking here for it. Guys, you guys are absolutely fantastic. Make sure to hit the like for me if you haven't already. It means the world to me that you guys do that. And you guys even just come in here and just watch and, interact, man. That means everything to me. You guys are great. And thank you guys so much for if any new subscribers. I hit 41,000 subscribers, man. That's pretty crazy. So thank you guys so much for subscribing. I hope all the new subscribers enjoy the channel moving forward. And thank you guys for all of the support. You guys are absolutely amazing. It means the world to me. Thank you guys so much. I love you guys very much. And we will do this again very soon, my friends.